It is 6 o'clock. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Tennessee Titans fall to 0-3 on the season after a big 41-20 loss to AFC South Division rival Indianapolis Colts yesterday at Nissan Stadium. Cam Ward completed 23 of 38 passes for 219 yards, a touchdown, and his first career interception that was returned for a touchdown by Colts cornerback Kenny Moore on the third play of the game. Tony Pollard found the end zone on a 1-yard rush in the third quarter, and Alec Ayumanner with the second touchdown of his rookie career on a 4th and goal midway through the fourth quarter. Joey Sly went 2 for 4 on field goal tries, hitting from 57 and 42, but missed his first and second field goals of the season from 64 and 62. For the Colts, running back Jonathan Taylor had 3 touchdowns on the day. The Titans did force the Colts to punt for the first time this season, ending an NFL history-long 9-quarter streak. Titans head coach Brian Callahan will meet with the media coming up at 11 a.m. this morning. You can hear that right here on 104.5 The Zone. Another NFL news, a wild Sunday as 7 games were decided in the final 2.5 minutes. And also there were 9 non-offensive touchdowns on the day yesterday, 4 interceptions, 2 punt returns, 2 blocked field goals, and 1 fumble, all recovered, all returned for touchdowns. On Saturday, the Tennessee Vols beat the UAB Blazers 56-24 to improve to 3-1 on the year. Vanderbilt Commodores put up a 70-burger on Georgia State, beating the Panthers 70-21, and they have their first 4-0 start to a season since all the way back in 2008. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Welcome in to Reaction Monday on Ramon and Will. 615-737-1045 is our number. I have a feeling it will be used quite a bit this morning. Colts beat the Titans 41-20 as the Tennessee Titans fall to 0-3. We got a lot of time to talk about it with you as Titans therapy begins this morning. For the next 4 hours, 615-737-1045. We stream the show live on 1045 The Zone TV for you. Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. That is where you can see the Vol for Life and Vol Network analyst Ramon Foster in Knoxville this morning. I'm Will Bowling here in Nashville. And Ramon, we got a lot to talk about. How we doing?
Yes, we're good, man. We got a lot to talk about, but can I update you on my situation right now?
Yeah, you can absolutely do that.
I'm in Mike Keith's studio right now in Knoxville, Tennessee. As you said, I see young female athletes out here running 50-yard shuttles across the football field at the indoor. I also see the Vols football team currently, but somebody doing up downs, man. I don't know what happened. But all I know is somebody got up downs this morning. Oh, and I also saw the JRCC this morning with a follow me run.
Okay.
You remember those days, don't you? Send up early in the morning?
When
you had follow me runs?
When we had 6 a.m. practices, we would see those happening quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely, man. What a great day. I had to come up here for some stuff in Knoxville, but the show goes on, Will. How are you?
Good. It feels lonely, feels cavernous in this studio, but that's okay. We divide and conquer again. I feel like that is the theme of our season this year, Ramon.
It is, and you along with the Titans will go on a 3-week road trip also soon.
Yes, Houston, Phoenix, and Vegas in my very near future. Should be interesting. Should be fun. So. Yes. Yesterday, not fun, though, for Titans fans in Nissan Stadium as the Colts beat the Tennessee Titans 41-20. Again, phone lines will be wide open throughout the morning at 615-737-1045. Ramona, you were in the building. You were there for Mike Keith's induction into the Ring of Honor, which we will talk about later on in the show as well. But your initial reaction, your biggest take from yesterday's game in Nissan Stadium was what?
Sitting in the stadium yesterday, being around it, before the game even kicked off, I looked over to my wife and said, it looks like they're going to lose today. That's how it felt. The crowd was good, but I thought late getting in, it seemed like there was everything going on, but a game almost in a sense. Like it felt like something was hovering over the team yesterday, if that makes sense, Will. Like, and that's how it ended up going yesterday. That's the way I think the fan base was waiting for the ball to drop, and it absolutely did. It was all the excitement that preseason had, I felt like was sucked out early. And it was low. I don't want to call it low because I respect the guy's profession, but I'm gonna be honest with you, it felt low and looked that way too yesterday.
What about it was concerning before the game? Because obviously we'll get to Michael Pittman Jr.'s comments, who essentially said the same thing, the wide receiver one of the Indianapolis Colts. What did you notice that made you think things were flat and things were off? Because L'Jarius Sneed and Roger McCreary said the same thing in the locker room yesterday.
Oh, did they?
They did.
Oh, well, just looking at the way the guys ran out of the tunnel, you usually see guys bouncing around. You usually see in those type of moments right there, guys looking at the situation saying, all right, this is a day for us to get a win. Like I tell you all the time, by the time Thursday turns around, you're almost in a mind space to where you take the new opponent and they are the ones that are on the hit list for you. And I didn't feel like the Colts were on the hit list for the Titans. Just watching them warm up, watching them run out of the tunnel, watching them do the individual drills. It seemed somewhat disjointed. It seemed like a team, but it also looked as if, man, it could, they knew they had no hope in winning. And that's a bad place to be at as a player, and especially this early in the season too. Even on the intros, the most exciting one of them all was Jeff. But Jeff has a custom intro where he flexes and the smoke comes out. Everybody else just kind of lackadaisically ran out. Even the rookie, Femi Oladejo, I just felt like just gave a nice little trot night. I'm not looking for you to run and do a backflip coming out of the doggone tunnels, but there is an element of excitement of understanding the situation. And what I mean by that is this: there are only so many starters in the NFL. And when it's your turn to come out through those tunnels, like even in high school, even in college, running through any kind of tunnel or having your name called brings a level of excitement to you. And it just looked flat yesterday. Like I said, I'm not going to necessarily name blame the crowd per se. But
the crowd.
I felt like they felt that it was bad. So the yells and the screams and the excitement was low, Will. And I get it. You don't know which team you're going to get, what type of performance that you're going to get. Also, when it boils down to what the Tennessee Titans provide to you, the losing streak continued. And you also had the Colts who blended in with Titans fans in the blue that they wear. And they had a huge crowd there also. It looked as if they were dead men walking. And with that, it showed. And I'm talking about it showed the first play of the football game, man. It was everything that I thought. And I'll put it this way. I could cold call my wife right now. I could call her and say, Keish, what did I say to you before the game? And she would probably tell you that it looked like they were going to lose. That's what I told her before Michael Pittman Jr. said what he said. And before even this morning, I knew L'Jarius Sneed said what he said this morning.
Yeah. How often, Ramon, did you play on a football team that came out flat like that in your football career at any level?
Will, hardly ever.
Yeah.
We had injuries to like Ron Shazier. It was something catastrophic.
Sure.
Catastrophic.
Sure.
Like it was Ron Shazier or Ben Elbow when he tore that up. It was something like that, or the way AB got knocked out. But heck, that even made you more mad. For me, this situation has honestly been watching this team, and I guess the duration of what Coach Callahan's tenure has been here in Nashville is the understanding of how to process what you are, the understanding that every new week that you have a game is a new opportunity. Like, it's one thing to come out flat, but at some point in time when you get punched in the mouth, teams respond. Like, you didn't see much of a response. I think there was a little bit of a pushback going into the third quarter or second quarter, whichever one it was, but that was about it. And then you allow Jonathan Taylor to come in and do his thing. And we spoke about what Daniel Jones was as a quarterback. Like, there were opportunities for you to go at them. The issue that I've seen, well, when you ask me, like, how many times have we come out flat, is eventually there's a response, either by getting booed from your fans, And I won't lie, we've gotten booed before. We've had people walk down to the front row of the stands and dog curse us out and say all kind of stuff to us too. That has happened. That happens at every NFL stadium for the home crowd. But there's usually a response from the coaches that will get in your butt, get in your behind, man, and really challenge you. And then there's also the self-pride that pulls you out of it. Like, I felt like there was a little fight, but not a lot at all. Like it's almost as if they expected to lose because of the situation. And one thing I will say is this, and it's hard to compare Coach Tomlin to Coach Brian Callahan because there's just an immense amount of separation of years in the league and coaching experience too. But what I will say is this, that type of stuff on how you develop and how you compete and what you want your product and film to look like, I will say this, it does start with the head coach and his coaching staff. I will not get away from that because if we were going on losing streaks, if we had bad tape out there, Coach Tomlin will reiterate to us, man, you may get your face kicked in, but I'm here to tell you this. This is your walking, breathing resume, the film and the tape that you put out there. It might not be for us inside of our locker room, but think about all of your compadres that watch your tape, your family members that see this. If you put bad tape out there, they're going to attack it, and then they're going to attack it again the next week and the week after that until you get it off of it. He made those things seem important to us. And that, to me, it seems as if guys are somewhat settled with just being professional athletes and not having pride about their work. And again, I think that starts from the top down inside of the locker room, the player meeting room. And whether he's saying it or not, the response just isn't there.
Right.
I think you probably got about 7, 8 guys maybe that have that type of response, but you're not getting the entire team putting their foot into the ground and saying, hey, let's go.
Patience is understandably wearing thin for a team that is making the same mistakes routinely. And I don't blame any fan this morning for feeling frustrated and feeling like things are beyond repair. I understand that feeling this morning. I understand the emotions. I understand that a lot of you want to react at 615-737-1045 and in the F&M Bank chat, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. As we like to say on Mondays, our only guest of the morning is you. We are live for the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. So there was one key area we wanted to see improvement from the coaching staff and from the Titans from week 1 to week 3, and unfortunately we didn't see it. We'll dive into the end of first half scenario, what Brian Callahan said post-game about a rough finish to a rough first half of Titans football that will catch a lot of headlines this morning from yesterday's loss to the Indianapolis Colts, and we will do that with you coming up next. Ramona Will is fueled by Scooter's Coffee on 104.5 The Zone, and Scooter's Coffee is ready to pick you up on this Monday. Locally owned near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. 615-737-1045, how you jump in. Got a couple of phone lines still open for you. Ramon, in Denver, we talked about how game management was wide of the mark, was not good enough from a play calling perspective, from situationally just managing a football team. And we said in that moment on Monday after week one, let's wait and see how the coaching staff adjusts to learning what it has when the lights came on. Unfortunately, Ramon, yesterday the lights came on in Nissan Stadium and the same mistakes were made. At the end of the first half, the Titans had the football on the 48-yard line at the 2-minute warning. This was after Indy's missed field goal with 3:15 left to set the Titans up at their own 41. They ran Pollard for 6 yards on 1st and 10, Pollard for 2 yards on 2nd and 4, Pollard for 1 yard on 3rd and 2. The Colts took a timeout with 42 seconds left. The football was on the 39-yard line. It would have been a 56-yard field goal. The Titans then took a timeout, and then the Titans took a delay of game out of the timeout, missed a 62-yard field goal, which was partially blocked by Grover Stewart. The Colts scored 3 points, and Nissan Stadium was as loud booing as I have heard them in my time being around this team. What did you make of that sequence? What is the biggest concern you have with the way the first half ended yesterday?
Well, we can be honest on this show, right?
Absolutely we can.
Okay.
Absolutely we can.
That looks like amateur hour.
Yes, it did. It can't happen. Cannot happen.
No, not even close, especially when you got essentially almost 6 minutes of downtime to make a decision on what you're going to do in that moment. I can pull back the curtains a little bit because everybody was in the stadium and understood what it was too. Let's talk about the play first. That succession of decision making and play making and confusion is the stuff right there that you see only one time, and that's it. But I feel like we've seen this happen again. You mentioned the Denver situation also. And then, of course, yesterday inside of Nissan Stadium, it really set him up to be one of those coaches that's not taken serious. Like, he had the look on his face. You had Bones Fossil next to him also talking to him about the decision-making. I think the excuse was, or the reason was, they didn't have the right kicking ball in. Well, there was 6 minutes of time to get that ball in. That's a problem right there. And then he also said post-game, I listened to a little bit of that too. He said post-game, there was confusion about what they were going to do, how they were going to execute it. And lo and behold, it was simply the football. You can't have those type of mistakes right there. I don't want to call it fireable because that's not my decision to make. But what I can tell you is this: the boos that were heard by some very important people inside of that stadium yesterday, and it just did not look good, man. You're paid as a coach to know everything or have people that's going to alert you about what you should or should not be doing. Now, either he or his support staff is leaving him out to dry in moments that are crucial for this team to get points, to look competent and competitive, and also be professional about it. Like, this is one of the top CEO jobs in America, being a head coach of a football team. And for you not to know what you're doing, or at least have the support staff to inform you on what you should be doing, then it's very problematic. Like, it's inexcusable. It's very amateur, and it looks as if, whether true or not, whether he know the rules or not, it looks as if this job is way over his head when it comes down to it. That's inexcusable, man. I could tell you about what happened in the tunnel. I was in there. I know Dr. Kevin Dyson on Talkback yesterday, he spoke of it when it came down to what he saw and how he felt. I felt like it was worse than described. It really was.
615-737-1045. We will get to your phone calls, but first I want to hear from Brian Callahan on that end of half sequence. This is the head coach of the Tennessee Titans talking yesterday, and good questions by the media corps in understanding what exactly happened and why the Titans took a delay of game after 2 timeouts.
I was going back and forth, but we were talking about going for it or kicking it, and that's a kick that Sly's made, and a chance to make it a 17-9 game in that moment. it's a hindsight thing. If you go for it and get it, great. If you go for it and don't, then you're in the same spot. And thought we had a chance to get points there. Sly's been really reliable from deep. He's a bit of a weapon for us, and he's been that way thus far in this season. And then we wanted to kick it, and they were waiting for some operational things to uncover, and just like to go faster. It obviously had no intention to take a delay of game there. Didn't want that to happen. Obviously, looks.
I think we lost Brian there, Justin.
Some operational things to uncover, and just like to go faster. It obviously had no intention to take a delay of game there. Didn't want that to happen. Obviously, looks really bad at the end of the day, and that was not the intention to do that. So wanted to be able to kick it.
Once you call timeout there, I mean, don't you know what you're doing? Shouldn't you have your personnel on the field?
Yeah. Certainly. We were going back and forth and wanted a minute to think about it. I was going back and forth between the fourth down call and the field goal, and decided to go take points in that particular situation. And, the operational part of it to kick it on time didn't happen.
What's the benefit of having your offensive personnel on the field after the timeout?
Because I hadn't decided yet at the moment on what we're going to do.
I mean, how could you have their timeout, your timeout, and still not have decided?
Like I said, we were having a couple different conversations about it, and ultimately that was a decision we made.
What kind of message, though, do you think that sends? Like, not going for it on fourth and not going for it. What message does that send to your team?
I don't know. I don't know what message that sends. I was trying to take points and make it a 17-9 game at the half. That was my intent. So I don't know.
It's Brian Callahan speaking to the media yesterday. Ramon, it wasn't a good sequence. There's no way to defend it. It's inexcusable. The inability to come to a decision after 2 timeouts and not be aggressive there. Here's the thing to me, Ramon. You instill confidence in your team and in your players by using your play calls and in-game decisions to tell them you believe in them, right?
Yeah.
And I think ultimately at this point, going run, timeout, delay of game after the 2-minute warning, what message does that send to this team? Like, we just got done watching a team in Indianapolis that has led the league in first down yardage in the NFL this year. Dan Orlovsky talked about it on NFL Live last week. They are letting Daniel Jones spin it early in drives. And to draw the comparison, Orlovsky made the point last week on ESPN and said, Daniel Jones looks like a confident quarterback because the play calls that Shane Steichen is giving him instill confidence in him and to say, you know what? I believe in you to go throw outside the numbers to Michael Pittman on first down. Hey, I believe that, a 2nd and 2, we're taking a shot. We're going deep to Alec Pierce. And all of a sudden, you're seeing Daniel Jones hit on a lot of those plays. Ramon, could Brian Callahan and this coaching staff give their team more confidence and give them more juice to the point of what you said of like, things look flat and things don't look inspired? How much of that is in the control of the play caller and the coaching staff that is consistently making errors and mistakes in situations like this one at the end of the first half yesterday?
Man, the way it's unfolding, Will, it feels as if they have read the tea leaves too as players. Like watching him operate, watching him be a head coach and make these type of decisions. Here's what I will tell the fans when you ask me about the players. Players aren't dumb. I'll say this. Players aren't dumb about the sport that they play. They may do dumb things inside of the sport from play to play, get a penalty or do something crazy like that. They may have some off the field issues that make them seem dumb as human beings. But when it comes to them actually knowing the game and actually being in the know about what we should do in these moments, these guys know defenses back and forth. These guys know offensive flow the way they should. We, as players, ask questions. Why didn't we do this? Why did coach not allow us to have these type of moments? Well, it's hard to get that stuff back when the perception inside the locker room changes. Case in point, I had an offensive line coach one year, Will, that we thought was the dumbest man in the building. And we knew this. And we knew that he was fighting for his job. We knew that he had situations in which he didn't understand the offense. Yeah. He didn't have confidence in us. He didn't have confidence in himself. And that coach got let go. I've seen other guys where we just like, it was the village idiots. They have meetings after he leave the building to talk about what they're actually going to do. Like, this isn't something that's new. Like, sometimes people get in these positions because of circumstance or because, heck, they might just be good talkers. I'll say this about Coach Brian Callahan. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's got some good coach in him. But these situations right here are showing how, I guess, young in his coaching career that he is.
Yeah.
How inexperienced he is with this. And again, I will say this, players aren't dumb. You feel, you see, and you know a lot of these type of situations right here. And as a soldier, as a player, is what I like to say, like, I'm a soldier, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. That's always been my thing right there. When you have a coach that has that type of confidence. Now, again, you have to earn that. It's more than just the situations you put these guys in. It's literally you showing them that you are the biggest, baddest man in the building. And I'm not sure if they're getting that from him in this instance that he's their head coach.
Let's go to the phones. Your reaction at 615-737-1045 on this Ramon and Will Reaction Monday. Peyton in Hendersonville leads us off.
Hey, good morning, Ramon and Will.
Morning.
Can you hear me?
We got you.
Yep.
Awesome. I was sat in section row 117 yesterday, and I can tell you that the boos, they're getting loud, and they didn't just start at halftime. They were in the first quarter. I did call in on Friday and say that I feared that if we came out flat yesterday, and we have 3 road games, and then Mike Vrabel comes in here on October 17th or 19th, whichever one it is, that Callie wouldn't make it. I really don't even think Callie makes it much longer, to be honest with you. Like, that was miserable yesterday. And as a Titans fan, I just don't even understand how you even want to go watch this football team. And I felt bad for Mike Keith because when Burt Nighthill did his, Ring of Honor, the boos, man, just started just growing and growing and growing and growing. And, Mike Keith didn't deserve that. The fans are fed up. And that's my thought. And I appreciate you guys for taking my call.
Thank you, Peyton. Appreciate the call. So, Ramon, you referenced this a little bit earlier. You were down there in the tunnel, and you were out there with Mike as he was inducted into the Titans Ring of Honor. And an incredible honor that is, and awesome stuff for Mike that we talked a lot about last week. He's the 6th broadcaster in NFL history to be inducted into his team's Ring of Honor. Just incredible stuff. What was your perspective, though, on the boos? What did you hear? What was the reaction like? What was the overall atmosphere of that situation, Ramon? Because you had the unique perspective of being there in the tunnel as Brian Callahan and the coaching staff walked up and as the boos rained down.
Yeah, I was in a tunnel as Mike is about to come out, and Mike and his family's there. All of us was there. Dr. Dyson was down there. I was standing next to Jonathan Hutton also, and we're sitting and we're trying to figure out. It was a 2-minute session of timeout, and also timeout, and false start or delay of game. And at the end of half, you heard Colts fans get loud, and as the Titans are walking in, I'll just say this: everybody that was on the field for Mike's ceremony was in the tunnel, and all of the boos, all of the yelling, cussing was very clear. It was very loud. It was directed at players. It was directed at coaches. It was directed at ownership. It was nasty. It was, I told Hutton as I was standing next to him, because he's been a part of Titans radio and worked sidelines with Mike Keefe too. I said, this is sad. And it was, because there's a whole half of football left to be played. But your bosses, your ownership, every executive that you could think of heard directly from the fan base as Coach Callahan walks in with a straight face and, head up high, trying to not hear it. Will, sad.
It's impossible not to hear it at that point.
Whatever you thought you heard in that tunnel, because that screen there and it echoed, I feel like it was worse. And that's not a great representation. Like you said, the caller just said too, Mike didn't deserve that on his big day. But of course, here's the thing I always say, football always has to come first. And if the product in the sport isn't good, the fan base, because it's so emotionally attached to you, one game a week, they're going to express that type of emotion.
Yep.
Whatever you think it was, I felt it was worse because I hadn't seen it be like that, to where ownership and high management was there.
Right. Well, and even if they're there, Ramon, that is a very public way to hear the fans' frustrations. That is that's significant. That's unique. I mean, the timing of that couldn't have worked out any. I mean, the timing of it is very unique because it's one thing to hear the boos and hear a lot of the fan angst and frustration from a suite. It's another to be on the field and get it.
It was on you.
Yeah.
Like,
no doubt.
It's
different.
That was different.
So we'll see what the product of that is. I mean, look, I get the frustrations, and I know Cam Ward said post-game that he would have been frustrated too. I mean, I think the team understands the scenario and understands that the end of first half mistakes are a worrying trend and just can't happen. I mean, truly, at this point, Ramon, making the wrong decision in that moment is better than making no decision. That's the worst thing the Titans could have done in that moment, and Brian Callahan could have done in that moment, was not deciding to go for it or kick it and taking a delay of game, because then you make it tougher on Joey Sly, who I think is the guy who's been the most consistent football player in this entire team.
Yeah, and now his confidence is probably a little jaded down too because he's getting one blocked.
Sure. Let's go to Caples in Nashville up next. Hey, Caples.
What's going on, man? It's been a while since I talked to y'all, boys.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome.
I mean, everybody who's a Titans fan, a real Titans fan, could distinguish that wasn't nobody booing Mike Keith or nothing yesterday.
No, of course not.
Was out there ownership was out there on the field yesterday, so they got to hear how people feel, man. Folks is just tired, man. They tired. And just to speak to something, Ramon, that y'all was just talking about, when Will asked you, did y'all ever have an off day or ever come out flat? Your organizations wasn't finna stand for that. You played for the Vols when, Philip Fulmer was there and they was in their heyday. You played for the Steelers. When do the Steelers ever not make the playoffs or they accept stuff like that? Like, it's organizational from top to bottom is what we tired of. We want an organization that we know going to put out a good product every year, going to demand the best every year. Not we good for 2 or 3 years and then we're in a rebuild for 7. Like, people just tired, man, and they got every right to be. Then you're going to build a new stadium, hike up the prices, and ask us to pay to go in there, but don't give us a good product. And it's top to bottom. It ain't just coaching. It's like ownership and everything. So everybody just tired because what's the standard here? That's what everybody want to know. Y'all be good, man.
Thank you, Cape.
Wow.
I get it. I totally get it. Ramon, where is your faith? Where is your confidence level in this coaching staff right now?
It's low. We're talking on a scale 1 to 10, Will. Like, over the last year and some change, it's probably about a 2 out of 10. Just because you never know what can happen in these moments. But you're talking about a 3-game first caller. Somebody brought up the fact that Vrabel's coming back. Like, no, you got to get past these 3 West Coast games. Like, it's that side of it too. You got to come home with something. I'm probably about a 2 out of 10 on faith, Will, because again, when you can't motivate the guys or get a response out of them consistently, or you have moments to where you're also assisting and losing.
Yep.
Like. That's where it takes me down at.
There is a lot of yes and with the Tennessee Titans right now that has put you in a predicament. There is game management and the right side of your line's not healthy. There is the right side of your line's not healthy, and Cam Ward is still learning on the job and making mistakes that rookie quarterbacks are expected to make. There are those rookie mistakes, and you are consistently getting penalty issues. On defense, it's Jeffrey Simmons looks better and is around the quarterback, and you still can't sack him. The edge rusher group that you hope grows over time, and Fabio Adejo, who is seen as a higher ceiling long-term prospect player, that group is struggling. And you are bringing in Kaiser White to stabilize the linebacker position because you feel like linebacker hasn't taken the strides that maybe you saw in training camp, aside from Cody Barton, and you're injured at corner, again, with Jarvis Brownlee. I mean, it is a perfect storm that leads to another 41-20 loss, a 3-score loss at home, and it's not just one thing, I think, Ramon. I don't know if that makes people feel better or worse. This morning, they are banged up on a team that cannot afford to be banged up. They played a really good opponent again that we didn't expect to be very good. To be quite honest with you, I mean, we would have chalked this up as one of the wins before the season started. And then once the season starts, you realize, oh, crap, the Colts are good. And I understand frustration for the fan base to say, well, why can't we be the surprise? Why can't we be the ones that say, oh, crap, the Titans are good? I get it. I really get it. I understand the frustration. I understand the boos. I understand where fans are this morning. I'm not here to tell you to think any other way. I'm here to hear you guys out. I'm here for you guys to react, to vent at 615-737-1045. And I'm here to call it like it is and say that the game management mistakes and the end of first half scenarios are a red flag, especially considering we were already fooled once in Denver. It is the reality of the situation. I think Brian Callahan would agree this morning now that he's outside the arena. I mean, he agreed yesterday after his press conference. That coaching staff knows they messed up. They get it. I mean, the voices in Brian's head that understand, like, hey, there's too many of us talking right now, clearly. We got to make a decision in a situation like that. I mean, and everyone over there gets it. But the fact that it's happened again in a span of 3 weeks, this is why, Ramon, when people would call in and ask, are people safe if ... Are people getting fired or staying if ... Like, there are different ways to lose 3 games. There are different ways to win however many games the team is going to win this year. There are things that this staff and this team needed to show us to show signs of progress, and unfortunately, they didn't show it to us yesterday. We'll go back to the phones when we come back. 615-737-1045. We give the mic to you. More after this.
Around here, everybody knows Genesis Diamonds is the go-to place when it comes to jewelry, especially bridal jewelry. Genesis owns the engagement ring market in Nashville, with couples driving for hours to take advantage of their no middleman diamond prices and exclusive designer ring sales. No other store, online or in person, can give you the selection that Genesis can. No matter what style or look she wants, no matter how big of a diamond she wants, or what shape, or whether it's natural or lab grown, Genesis has it. And at Genesis, there's no pressure, no corporate playbook, no Wall Street sales quota to meet. The trusted experts at Genesis are not paid on commission. They are there to listen, to help, to guide, to help you max out your budget, whether you have $3,000 to spend or $300,000. But don't forget this, in addition to being the leader in engagement rings, Genesis is also where you will find the finest fashion jewelry from the top designers. Earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, necklaces, and colored gemstones. And if you've always wanted a Rolex, Genesis has a mind-blowing selection, pristine luxury pre-owned Rolex watches for both men and women. Genesis Diamonds, hands down the best, with transparency you want, the respect you deserve, and the value you need. Learn more at genesisdiamonds.com.
Hey, it's Will Bowling. I want to tell you about my new obsession. And if you've been listening to the show over the past couple of weeks, you've heard me talk about it. Daisy French onion dip. Absolutely terrific. It makes a tough football weekend or a good football weekend better. Whether you're watching a win, watching a loss, I'm telling you, it is the best tailgate edition that you are going to find this season. I love the dips. Chips, wings, veggies. Well, watching the game, I know a lot of you are like me. We even got a tweet over the weekend saying, hey, enjoy the football with my Daisy. That's right. Daisy has come out with this delicious French onion dip and ranch dip. I'm telling you, they're a game changer. As delicious as a homemade dip, and they're made with real herbs and spices, plus other ingredients that you'd find in your own kitchen as well. There's more primetime football on tonight. You can get ready for the tailgates this week. Go by your local grocery store and grab some. Daisy French onion dip, Daisy ranch dip, a terrific addition to your tailgate. You can find it at a grocery store near you. Ramona Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone, 615-737-1045. How you jump in? Excuse me. Goodness sakes. Didn't expect that. Let's go to the phones. Justin is in Cookeville. Next up, wide open for your reaction this morning. What's up, Justin?
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
I'm going to, I hope I don't offend anybody with this, but the problem is we have a beta leading alphas, and our head coach is a beta. He's being paid to make grown man decisions, and he's not stepping up and making grown man decisions. We went from Mike Vrabel, who was an ultimate alpha, to a beta. And
Justin, how has that helped Mike Vrabel's record in this last 30 games?
I completely agree with you. And I was absolutely done with Vrabel because I think Vrabel checked out. His last 2 years, I feel like Vrabel checked out on the Titans. But I feel like Cam Ward's an alpha. Jeffrey Simmons is an alpha. And they see these grown man decisions come up, and they see wavering back and forth. And I'll be honest with you guys, if I was a player on that football team, I would look at Brian Callahan and say, just make a decision. Ramon, you played for Tomlin. That man is a leader of men. He's not a beta. There was never a back and forth. Who's in my ear making decisions, helping me make decisions. If there was a decision to be made, Mike Tomlin's making it. I'll hang up and listen. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, Justin. The whole beta thing is totally unfair. But, Ramon, what's your take? Is Ramon there? Maybe not. Okay.
I was muted. That's on me. That's on me. It comes down. It comes with experience. It comes with situation. It does come with confidence. I would say that if you're sure of your job and your team trusts you, you got the trust. Like, here's the thing, Callie got a lot on this plate. There's a lot of public scrutiny that he's getting to, and that makes you make these type of decisions right here. Again, I've said before, when it comes down to him and these decision makings that he's had or lack of them, he doesn't have skin in the game to know these situations or the people that he's hired that's helping him too. Calling him a beta is simply it's frustrating for y'all. I know that too, but I look at his situation and say, again, I think it's overwhelming for him to do this job in real time and have to make these type of decisions. I get why you feel that way. I do think beta is line crossing.
Yeah, let's check our toxic masculinity at the door this morning.
That's
you can say that he's too indecisive and not assertive enough on the field without making a statement about the guy as a human. Come on, we gotta be able to separate those two things.
I get the frustration.
Sure.
I absolutely get the frustration, but that one was it's line crossing. But as a fan, I can't tell you how to feel. Let's hold that one back a little bit. It seems indecisive from him.
Braden is in Lebanon next, 615-737-1045. Hey, Braden.
Good morning, y'all. How's it going?
Good.
Good morning.
Man, it's just really just being at the game yesterday really showed me how much our fans are giving up on him. And I really do hate to say this, but it's just the same stuff over and over and over. I still have hope for some reason, and I don't know why. But, we just need to do something as a team. The team is so undisciplined. I'm not sure if y'all know or not, but there's reports going around. I think Jim Wyatt reported it. Skoronski left before media got in, Pollard and Ridley and Arden Key yesterday. So it just sounds like the whole team's just falling apart right now, and that's not good for the fans, the organization, nor the team, man.
Yeah, thank you, Braden. And I could add a little bit more to that. And obviously I wasn't there, but the tweet was that there was a long wait for the locker room to open. I don't think anybody was skipping out early. I just think for whatever reason, either Brian spoke longer to the team, or again, I'm not even going to speculate because I can't speak to exactly what happened. But I do not believe that people are trying to scoot out. I mean, it maybe somebody is. Again, I'm not going to speculate. I don't know. I was not there. The tweet from Paul Gaharski at Paul Gaharski NFL was ridiculously long wait for Brian Callahan. Players are leaving the locker room, which is not open yet. So that's the context of what happened for, to the caller's point about, there's reports of ... That's what the report is. You can make your own conclusions from that. I'm not going to speculate either way because I wasn't there and I don't know what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go to Mike, who is in Nashville.
Hey, guys. Just calling in for the third Monday in a row to talk about bonehead Callahan decisions. So I called in 2 weeks ago, and the conversation we were having was overreacting versus giving Callahan and the staff a chance. And I proposed looking at it a different way, like a relationship, like coaching only, if it doesn't work in the NFL, it's about a 2 to 3 year relationship. So if this doesn't work out, we're halfway through it. And I propose that, are we all overreacting, or is Callahan showing us obvious signs, obvious red flags? I use the analogy that if Callahan was our girlfriend, we would break up with him by now because he's going out making bonehead decisions, right? Yeah. So, and the reason why, so when you take that and you amplify that with, as an organization, it's what you do and not what you say. And when this organization, and I'm happy with Cam Ward so far, but when this organization did not take those draft picks, Callahan said we got offered the same type of deals that were offered for Travis Hunter, those picks. He said that. When we didn't take those picks and we took Cam Ward, they were putting a whole lot of pressure, obviously, on Cam Ward and that staff just by doing that. Not only number one pick, not only high expectations. So when you take the fact that we didn't trade the pick, we kept Cam Ward, we fired our GM, we didn't fire Brian Callahan, what you are telling us is that Cam Ward's going to be so great under Brian Callahan. It might not be the first year, but we're going to see signs. Will talks about this. We're going to see flashes of brilliance. And we've seen it with Cam here and there. We have not seen any flash of brilliance with Callahan. We haven't seen. So I'm going to ask the same thing I asked 2 or 3 weeks ago to you guys. Do you think we all need to, and I think this is what the other caller was trying to say and didn't say it right when he said alphas and betas. Are we going to sit back and let our girlfriend keep cheating on us, keep going out, keep doing that, and just take it? or are we going to say something? Are we going to say, hey, baby, don't go out for the 5th night in a row?
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
Mike, we're up against the break right now. I promise you.
We got a lot of people on the line, so we got to keep moving.
I promise you we're going to get to your point.
Well, let's talk about that next. 615-737-1045 as Ramon and Will heads into hour 2 after this.
It is 7:04. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Tennessee Titans fall to 0-3 on the season after a big 41-20 loss to AFC South Division rival the Indianapolis Colts yesterday at Nissan Stadium. Cam Ward completed 23 of 38 passes for 219 yards, a touchdown, and his first career interception that was returned for a touchdown by Colts cornerback Kenny Moore on just the third play of the game. Tony Pollard found the end zone on a 1-yard rush in the third quarter, and Alec Ayumanner with his second touchdown reception of his career on a 4th and goal midway through the fourth quarter. Joey Sly went 2 for 4 on field goal tries, hitting from 57 and 42, but missed his first and second field goals of the season from 64 and 62. For the Colts, running back Jonathan Taylor had a big day, scoring 3 touchdowns on the day. The Titans did force the Colts to punt for the first time this season, ending an NFL history-long 9-quarter streak. Titans head coach Brian Callahan is scheduled to meet with the media coming up at 11 a.m., and you can hear that right here on 104.5 The Zone. In other NFL news, a wild Sunday slate as 7 games were decided in the final 2.5 minutes of play, and there were 9 non-offensive touchdowns on the day, 4 interceptions, 2 punt returns, 2 blocked field goals, and 1 fumble recovered, all returned for touchdowns. And on Saturday, the Tennessee Vols beat the UAB Blazers 56-24, improving to 3-1 on the year. And the Vanderbilt Commodores put up a 70-burger on Georgia State, beating the Panthers 70-21, and now have their first 4-0 start to a season all the way back since 2008. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you've got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go to hour number 2 on this Monday morning, Reaction Monday. Ramon and Will is fueled by Scooter's Coffee. 615-737-1045 is the number. We stream it live for you on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. If you can't get a spot in the phone lines, head to our YouTube channel. Like the stream, subscribe to 104.5 The Zone on YouTube while you are there. There is no line, Ramon, to hit the comment section there, is there?
No, absolutely not. And before you come into the chat and start using slanderous words, like, we got to at least get a like button, okay? While you're there also, go ahead and subscribe. It's free. It's for you. It's for everybody. You will be back because at some point, I expect this thing to turn around, Will. That's what I'm saying. Like, hit the like button. Subscribe, share, send it to a friend so you can all hate together. Real quick, too, before you go any further, I think there was a discrepancy of a word that was used, like the beta alpha thing. What I would say is this. Instead of using those terms, just go out and say how you actually feel. If you hate the man or hate the coaching staff or hate his decisions, just say that. Don't beat around it by saying, oh, he's a beta. Like, all right, I get it, and I understand those terms and what it means to certain people and how you view it. What I'm saying is this. If you're going to call into our show or make comments about the coaching staff and how you feel as a fan, somebody that's invested to it financially, emotionally, psychologically at this point, as the Titans pull on your emotional strings, lean in. Say exactly how you feel about this situation. Because, again, I said time and time again, a unique thing about football is you got 1 a week, and the NFL is 18 weeks. We get emotional. We get tired of seeing bad. We love seeing good. And even for people that have spoiled fan bases like Kansas City or Pittsburgh or New England or Dallas, whoever, you're still going to have these emotions, good or bad. Just say it. Say what you don't like if you're going to call into the show, or what brought you to us to discuss the Tennessee Titans or Coach Brian Callahan and his staff. That's where I'm at with it.
Ramon, before the break, Mike asked about comparing this to a relationship. Saying the girl keeps going out and cheating on us. Why are we staying in the relationship? What is your reaction to that?
Here was my thing. You weren't emotionally stable enough to have a relationship. That's kind of where I want to take it. You decided that you were going to get a rebound date partner and think that everything was going to be okay. How I personally feel about this, Will, is where you and I were throughout the duration of draft season. You weren't ready for a relationship. You couldn't commit to anybody because you also needed to go to therapy. You needed to sit down on the couch and talk to somebody about how wrecked you were as a person before you decided you were going to find love in somebody else. My thing is this, and I'm not blaming it whatsoever on one particular person or pick, but here's what we both said, Will, before we go to more calls or discuss this even further. You were in a position to trade back and gather more picks. You were in a position to say, hey, we got to start at ground zero and build this thing up. Here's where I'm going to take it right now. If you do want to fire Coach Brian Callahan, and maybe it does happen sooner than later, one, that's a long time to have an interim. Imagine how the team is going to look with not your head coach there. And it could be a new coaching hire, rebound, right? It could be that. But here's what I will also tell you. If you fire Callahan, the coaches got to go. There's more money than Miss Amy and her staff and ownership have to pass out. You already probably still have Rand. I'm not sure if Vrabel's still on the books or John Robinson or their previous staffs too. So you have that, and I know it's not your money. You don't care. You're already invested in this team too. But you got to bring in a new coaching staff. In my personal opinion, I think, Will, you and I differ. I think you might have to go defense. I think you think they got to go offense.
I don't think they have to do either one. I just think they have to get the best coach available if they're going to go that route. Yeah.
But in that comes a new offense. In that comes new coaches. Maybe one of the GMs go. So you got a new GM that potentially want his type of players and his type of personnel. So you mean to tell me in year two, Cam has to have a new offensive coordinator, learn new players? There's probably going to be a lot of players that exit this team too. I'll say this, and I said it a little bit late last week too. If you fire Callahan, change offense, and I think you have to change it in its entirety because Cam doesn't have enough of an establishment to say, hey, I like this offense and I want to run it this way. Cam doesn't know what his professional career is going to look like. If you do that, and it's probably going to happen, I lean more on the side of saying this. As far as the Tennessee Titans career of Cameron Ward goes, you turn him into a mediocre quarterback. You turn him into the Cleveland Browns version of Baker Mayfield, Johnny Manziel. You turn him into that in Tennessee. That's the way I feel about it. That's a lot of change. That's a lot of newness. And it's also a new reset again. He has a higher probability of being just okay in Tennessee than you seeing what he's going to turn into, which is why I will say again, this is what we were before it became super evident, Will. This is why I was team trade back, get more picks to build up a foundation. You have a franchise quarterback right now with no foundation built underneath him. Think about that. You're Cleveland at this point trying to figure out who's your next quarterback. It's Atlanta, right?
I think Cam has shown us enough, Ramon, to suggest that his growth is going to happen regardless of who is here to help him. And when he gets guys who can, and we'll talk about it, more consistently catch the football as well, I believe enough in Cam Ward to say that the Titans still made the right decision. Because I think the hardest thing to find in this league is a quarterback, and the Titans found one. This was always the risk in going ahead and addressing that position now, is that your ceiling may be higher long term, but your floor might be lower in the short term, because there are rookie quarterback mistakes that are baked into the way games are going to go, because rookie quarterbacks make mistakes. I mean, Peyton Manning, obviously, we don't have to document and give you the details on how many regular mistakes rookie quarterback makes and how many good ones. I'm not where you are yet. I think that if you had 3 years of instability and of lack of continuity, yeah, then we're having that conversation that you make Cam, quote unquote, mediocre. But I think Cam is so good that this is going to be a blip on the radar for Cam Ward. I really do. I believe enough in him as a person. I think the way that he is wired, spending time around him and spending time around just this football team, I think he is a little bit of a unique personality, and I mean that in a positive way, to where the way his career has started is not going to be the way we define it ultimately.
I understand that. I'm great opinions by both of us. I've just seen it done time and time again.
I mean, you're in the AFC North where teams have made decades out of quarterback dysfunction. I don't think this is that.
Okay,
I don't.
I'll lean a little bit to you right there, but yeah.
Let's go to Gil in California up next. Hey, Gil.
Hey, how y'all doing this morning?
Great.
Good. Good morning.
Yeah, well, see, this is my thing. I kind of seen this coming from training camp. From training camp, it's like the first game against everybody. It's the first time we went against Denard Wilson's defense, the first time against Atlanta, and we all came out flat them times, and you don't get a second chance. And now it's leading into the season, and I just think Callahan, we can't fire him now. I mean, we got to let it go somewhat more into the season, but we just got to get the right offensive coordinator and the right coach, because Callahan is just outmatched, man, and we just all see it, and it's like, I don't know what decisions he's out there making, but the players know that this guy is not ready, and I think they almost out on him because you heard about him being flat in practice. You heard about all these things, and these players they've been around the league for a long time, man, and I don't think they have faith in Callahan, and we just got to let it play out. But I got faith in Ward, and I think that we just going to have to look forward to next year. It's sad to say, but it ain't looking too good.
Thank you, Gil. Appreciate the call.
Thanks, Gil.
Let's go to Eric in Nashville. Hey, Eric.
Hey, guys. I want to tell you something. I did something yesterday for the first time I hadn't done in I cannot remember the last time I did this. I did not listen to the post-game show yesterday, and I didn't call in. So, But I went to an event at my church. We had a members meeting in the cookout, and I said, I want to be happy. I don't want to be depressed. So I didn't want to listen to all the vitriol and venom that was going to be going on yesterday, so I skipped that. So, guys, but I was at the game yesterday, and I tell you what, I am not a fire-the-guy coach, but I tell you what, you can't defend what happened yesterday. What was frustrating is, of course, before the 51-yard miss, we had another miss of 67 yards. I mean, the tackling yesterday, that's another thing I want to talk about, was pitiful. I tell you what, Daniel Jones, I don't think he was sacked. I think we had a shot to either get him for a sack or minimum game. He ran 17 yards for a first down. He was throwing passes out the flat or screen passes, and they were just breaking tackles, and it was just frustrating to see. The tackling yesterday was just horrendous. And I tell you what, Callahan is giving himself the own rope and the ammunition to where they want to get rid of him. And I tell you what, I don't know when this is going to happen. I think, guys, unfortunately, it's a matter of time. Ramon, I'm just sorry I couldn't make you smile today. Guys, y'all take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate the call.
I appreciate it, Eric. No need to apologize, E.
We feel honored for being Eric's first reaction since he didn't call in a Titans talkback.
We do.
We'll get more of your phone calls, 615-737-1045. Buck Rising asked Brian Callahan about job security yesterday in the post-game press conference, and Brian was also asked, is there still buy-in in the locker room? And we'll play you his answers to both those questions coming up next. When it comes to ensuring clean air in your home, Lee Company delivers. Their award-winning team provides thorough whole home duct cleaning services that eliminate dust, debris, and other allergens from your HVAC system. The result? Improved air quality, enhanced system efficiency, and peace of mind. Even better, Lee Company is offering 10% off a whole home duct cleaning for a limited time. So why wait? Schedule online at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com for their duct cleaning services. You can always call Lee Company at 615-567-1000. Lee Company is available 24/7. When you have a problem, when you need solutions, they are there to pick up your call. They're there to help you. 14 community locations for Lee Company in Tennessee, Kentucky, and Alabama. And they've got over 1,800 employees ready to help you at a moment's notice. Give them a call, 615-567-1000. Get 10% off a whole home duct cleaning for a limited time. Online at leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need. Ramona Will is fueled by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone, locally owned in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, Surmount, Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Ramon Foster in Knoxville. I'm Will Bowling here in Midtown Studios for the next 2.5 hours. Here as we near the halfway point of the show. Ramon, let's hear from Brian Callahan, shall we?
Yes.
Head coach of the Titans asked by Buck Rising about job security, about getting fired, and here's what he had to say.
I don't really worry about that, Buck, to be honest. My focus is on trying to make sure our football team is in as good a place as possible, and the rest of that stuff is what it is. I don't think about those things, and you really can't. I mean, this is hard enough as it is to put those other things and think about that. It doesn't do anybody any good. So I just go to work and work as hard as I can. I put as much effort as I can into this, and, that is what it is.
Ramon, I didn't expect to be playing audio of that and answering that question in week 3.
No, I didn't either. That's probably one of the best answers he's had at the podium also.
Yep, it's a fair one, no doubt.
I wish you to pull a Dabo. I do.
Ooh. That's a different conversation that we'll do tomorrow. And we will talk college football this week, although it's probably not going to be today.
I wish you to say, I'm the best y'all got, regardless. Y'all keep me or fire me. I'm getting a check. That's me trying to lighten the mood a little bit. Well, it's heavy.
Yeah, go to the F&M Big Chat. The mood is not light, as you know, telling anybody who's not there right now. Look, I mean, it's at this point, we'd hoped, Ramon, that game management mistakes and the coaching staff having a feel for the game between the white lines was a one-off mistake in week 1.
Yeah.
Clearly it wasn't. We talked about the end of first half situation. We've talked about the play calling. Were the Titans too conservative for you in this game, Ramon? Does this game, the result itself, come down to being overmatched? Does it come down to play calling? Does it come down to, what is the number one reason, in your opinion, why the Tennessee Titans were beaten by 3 scores on their home field yesterday?
I think the first one is you're overmatched. I think the game plan that you had as far as rolling Cam out and putting Cam in space, the long developing routes that we saw them run yesterday, I thought was a good part of what they wanted the game plan look like. I say overmatched first because of this, Will. I mean, pick 6. You're essentially fighting and clawing at that point right there. You look at the other portions of the game, too. The reason he had to throw that because the pocket was collapsing on him. It was overmatched, right? Cam was rookie. We knew these type of mistakes would happen. What he would look like, too, as a rookie like that, those are the parts of it. Again, and then Zaire Franklin last year, I dare you to throw that type of pass again. Cam flung it up now again. Their safety made a really good play on the ball right there, too. But you go out throughout the duration of the game. We watched NFL caliber offensive tackles and linemen will get pushed backwards as if they were riding a sled or if they was doing sled runs. Like, that was a workout session for the defensive end from the coach yesterday as he pushed John Ojukwu back for a sack like that. I'll start there first, overmatched. And then at that point, hesitation in the game plan. There wasn't any concise calls that were just consistently pulled out of Brian Callahan's playbook yesterday. There were moments, right? But guys had to go over and beyond. I think also this, too, missed opportunities. Cam's pass down the middle of the field to Chika Okonkwo. I think it was hot, but it touched his hands, and it should have got caught. Right? There was no response to the good fortune that the Indianapolis Colts had yesterday throughout the course of the game. But I'm going to start with outmatched and then outcoached at that point, too, with no clear plan.
Vince is up next, 615-737-1045. Good morning, Vince.
Good morning, gentlemen. Recently retired, and you guys are part of my repertoire now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love your show.
Appreciate it.
I'm old. Been around here for 63 years. I grew up in Houston watching this franchise. They moved, I moved, and it's been this team is in my DNA. In the early 80s, the Oilers went on a 1981, went 7-9, 82, 1-8, 83, 2-14. At that point, around 1984, Bud Adams erected this gigantic billboard in front of the Houston Astrodome, and it said, "The line starts here." On that billboard was a guy named Mike Munchak, Next to him was a dude named Bruce Matthews. Next to him was a cat named Dean Steinkuhler, who happened to have a pretty good career, sadly cut short by injury. Bud Adams put that up there because people were wanting that wide receiver. They were wanting that defensive end at that time. But you know what they did? They went and they drafted their offensive line. We've got 2 studs on our O-line. All we need is one more left tackle. Moan, are there any prospects out there that fit the mold of a 10-year left tackle? I'll hang up and listen to y'all talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Vince.
Yeah.
Ramon, your thoughts?
I'm not even in draft mindset right now.
Nope. Nor should we be.
As far as that concerned. As far as the left tackle that you signed, Will said he may not have been the best, but he was the best that the offseason allowed you to go get. All right. There's that part when it comes down to Dan Moore. Again, I know JC's out, but again, you see like the level of offensive line play once your starters are out too. Ajuku wasn't that great. Blake Hance, I think, had some moments. Cush is, still getting his footing.
Center, yeah.
Lord Cushenberry is getting his footing underneath him still. And I'll say this: when you're bad, everything around you get bad too. I mean, even Peter Skoronski had some moments yesterday too. Like that Colts defensive line was good. We've been prefacing the weeks like this. Like it's not been the easiest start to a season for teams that were once bad. Denver, right? The Colts, they got good, but to your point on the last caller, they've had good bones though. Interior, D-line, and offensive line also.
Right. Yeah, I think the offensive line is a disappointment so far. I mean, I think it's fair to question how we've gotten to this point. I think it's fair to question Bill Callahan. I think it's fair to ask how have things not improved more. I do think that Dan Moore is your left tackle for 2025 and 2026, though. And I think the way that contract sets up, you've got to give this coaching staff time, or you have to give Dan time to get comfortable with a new left guard, with a new scheme. So I'm not putting Dan Moore on the hot seat quite yet at this point. I think it is unlucky that the Titans had a banged-up offensive line for the first week. It was playing a defensive front that's not great, right? I think we could be honest about that. Like, there are elements of, hey, this team has also had rotten injury luck. And maybe that's exposed more cracks in the foundation. And ultimately, that's not the biggest reason why the Titans lost yesterday. But it certainly contributes to the fact that they can't protect their most valuable asset, Cam Ward, because you're missing the right side of your offensive line. And Lloyd Cushenberry doesn't look like himself yet, which was to be expected coming off of an Achilles injury. We made the point at hour one, Ramon. There's a lot of yes and with this football team right now. And while, yes, there are major issues with feel for the game, and I think the aggressiveness or lack thereof in the play calls and the penalties and the youth and the inexperience, we got to be honest that, especially in the offensive line, this was a team that didn't have a lot of margin for error, that has more issues than what they can handle in terms of their depth.
You know what's crazier is this, though, and all of that, like, I know a lot of this fan base is going to look and say, yeah, but Tampa's dealing with the exact same thing, and Todd Bowles is finding ways to win, too. There's a lot of comparisons that are going to happen. I guess before we go to more calls, too, my thought is this. What did Coach Brian Callahan say in those meetings as he was the one selected for the hire for this team? You know, like, where is that plan that he sold to the front office, to the ownership, to the GMs that allowed him to be the head coach of this team? I'd love to go behind the scenes and figure that out, too, because, again, in order to sign a head coach, everybody has to be in the boat for this type of decision. And whatever he had, however Coach Brian Callahan's lost it, is super problematic for this franchise and for the players' careers, too. That's the other side behind this. Coaches get fired to have bad seasons. You're labeled with that coach, too. Your tape looks bad, and people perceive you to be bad also.
Right. I think at this point, too, you have a rookie quarterback that is still, Ramon, holding the ball too long. You just are. Yeah. And again, like, that's to be expected. These are always the growing pains you're going to have with a rookie that is getting a feel for timing. And it is the tricky part with Cam, because off script, when he holds the ball for a long time and makes good decisions, those are the best moments of Cam Ward. So you don't want to coach it totally out of him. But sometimes you also need Cam to just get rid of it. And I thought that he made major strides after the first quarter. I thought he took too many hits that were on Cam in the first quarter of this game. Yeah. The Colts yesterday, according to Next Gen Stats, generated pressure on 40% of his dropbacks, sacking him 4 times. 5 Titans linemen allowed at least 3 pressures on the day, including both right tackles, John Ojukwu and Oli Udoh. John Ojukwu allowed 5 pressures. Oli Udoh allowed 3. That is unfortunate for a team that felt a lot better about its plan at offensive line that unfortunately had to go into plan B in week 2. And that's just the reality of being an NFL football team. The state of offensive line play is low right now, Ramon, in the league, and especially backup offensive line play. That's not a unique to the Titans issue. The problem is you have a rookie quarterback that exacerbates those issues and brings out more hits because the timing just isn't quite there yet.
Tough.
Yep. Back to the phones. We go to Gerardo in Amarillo. What's up, Gerardo?
What up, Gerardo?
Morning, y'all. Can y'all hear me?
Morning.
We got you.
Yep.
Can y'all hear me, boss?
We got you.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so sorry, I got a bad signal out here. Man, just real quick, rapid fire, let me vent this out, man. Just Cam right now, honestly, he's in the bottom of the list of what I'm worried about. All the rookie mistakes, he's going to get through it. Just to touch on what you were saying earlier, Moan, about that current situation we're in as far as we should have picked, more picks. As far as this specific unique situation we have with Cam, I honestly don't think we could have had a better dude to handle that specific aspect of it, as far as he would be the type to actually get pushed through that. Just between the head, I got faith in him to be able to pull out of that. But it sucks, man, because 30 of our 37 points that we've scored this season come from a kicker. It's getting harder and harder to feel even frustrated as a fan. And honestly, we live in an echo chamber. Everything revolves around how we feel. But I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to feel indifferent, even numb towards it. We spent about $5K. We're gonna go to the game up against Week 7 with the Patriots. I'm not even looking forward to that, man. I'm starting to get buyer's remorse. It's a really low moment right now as a fan. And the worst part is, it's like, even if the writing is on the wall with Cali, who out there really is better? Like, we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. And it sucks, man. And for how indecisive Cali is, he's making it really easy for us to choose on how to feel as fans right now. And it's a really low point for me personally. But wow. I just had to vent that out, guys.
Thank you, Gerardo. Appreciate it. I understand. I get it.
Gerardo.
Randy on Facebook Live says, hate talking Cam. He's not the problem. Randy, nobody's saying Cam's the problem. But when you have a rookie quarterback that is holding the ball too long, it makes a patchwork offensive line look worse. Fair, Ramon?
Yeah, I agree. And the other part of Cam being in the boat with the problems is this. He's a rookie quarterback. Like that's the other part of this conversation.
Yeah.
Like we told this story as often as we possibly could. Defensive coordinators salivate when rookie quarterbacks come into the league. They want to, I'm talking about, impose their will on them as quick as possible. I played I was on a team with a defensive coordinator who's in the Hall of Fame, Dick LeBeau. He made it a point, former Titans coach Dick LeBeau, made it a point to embarrass as many times as he could rookie quarterbacks, because if I can imprint myself on them, I got them for the rest of their careers.
Yeah.
This is also what Cam's going through.
Nobody's saying Cam Ward is the problem, but there are inherent problems and issues that come with starting a rookie quarterback. And that's fine. That's worth it for him to get on the job training and learn, because I think Cam Ward is going to be a really good quarterback for this franchise for a long time. But there are growing pains that have to be expected. That's not saying that he's the biggest issue, but again, there's there are a lot of issues facing this football team right now, and a lot of reasons why the operation of the offense is not where it needs to be. Yeah. Let's go to Benjamin, who is up next. Good morning, Benjamin.
Morning,
Good
Benjamin.
morning, guys. Good morning, guys. Can you hear me?
We got you.
Yep, we got you.
All right. I'm going to make it real quick. First, I want to shout out to my friend at work. I told him this first time I called, and, he should be listening at work. But I want to get to something real quick. I think something that got lost in yesterday is that Tony Pollard wasn't running the ball too terrible. He'd be running it on first down, and it'd be 2nd and 1, 2nd and 2. I'm just curious why the Titans didn't, take a shot with Cam Ward. Just see what you got. Just run a play action, just see if you can make something happen. Especially in the fourth quarter when you're down by 2 scores, and the Titans felt like they were in no hurry to get on the ball. They was just taking their sweet time. And one more thing, the Colts ran play action almost, it felt like all day yesterday. And I don't know if it's Callahan or the defensive coordinator, but they'd run play action, and there would be Tyler Warren would be wide open in a flat every time, and it would be a 5-7 yard gain every time. And I'm just curious why they never made an adjustment to try to stop that. And I know it's hard because, a guy running in a flat, that can be hard to defend. But, that's all I wanted to say, and I'll hang up and I'll listen.
Thank you, Benjamin. I think the first point about why didn't they take more deep shots, they tried. Yeah. You couldn't block it long enough to throw them, or you couldn't get enough separation deep to throw them. They schemed up some stuff. There was one play specifically on the plus side of the 50 where they had DK open over the top of the defense. He had his man beat. You got to be able to block it long enough to throw it. And secondly, in the fourth quarter, why they didn't take more deep shots, the Colts aren't going to let you do that. There's a reason why there were so many underneath throws and checkdowns to be made, because they know that the Colts will let you go 15 plays all the way down the field, but they also know that you're going to have to waste 6 or 7 minutes to do that, and you're down by 21. They were playing deep coverage. Ramon, you know this as well as anybody. When there's a blowout like that in the second half, they're going to give you the easy stuff because they're just going to let you break. Yeah, exactly.
And also this too, for the offense is concerned, the Colts defense was rushing for the most part. I'm not sure how much they blitzed. There was a lot of pressure from the 4 defensive linemen up front. And again, when the pocket is collapsing, there's nothing else you can do. And defensively for the Titans too, Jeff and others were back there. Daniel Jones is mobile. He got out of 2 sacks yesterday, maybe 3 for first downs or completions down the field. So
yep.
It was the perfect storm of a guy understanding where to go with the football. And like we said earlier, Shane Steichens implemented a lot of confidence and support around Daniel Jones.
615-737-1045, rapid fire phone reaction. You got one line open if you want it, as we get more to your thoughts coming up next. Ramona Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee, wrapping up hour number 2. Your phone calls at 615-737-1045. What is the most disappointing part of the Titans season so far? We're going to talk about that coming up in hour number 3. To those of you, Ramon, who are always critical of us on Mondays for not talking college football, we have 7 phone lines available to the people, and there has not been one available for more than 30 seconds all day. Since 6:15 in the morning, talking about the Titans. We let you all on Mondays often tell us where you would like to go, and there are a lot of you who want to chime in on the Titans. I'd love to talk college football, too. It's going to have to wait till tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it. People will be critical of us for it. Whatever. Fine. You can be critical. It's fine. Red Jersey Dylan is in Nashville up next. What's up?
Hey, guys, man. How we doing?
Good.
I just wanted to say, I've been a Titans fan my whole life, and I've always believed in showing up and showing support for the team, and nothing bothers me more than opposing fans taking over Nissan Stadium. But truly, at this point, it's just time for a different kind of support, and you got to hit ownership where it hurts. Stop buying concessions, stop buying tickets, stop spending at the fan shop. That's the only leverage that we have left. And honestly, the little things tell the story, man. 2 home games, not even a simple little fan gift, something cheap but meaningful that shows appreciation. When you cut corners on the smallest gestures, it just shows you how little they value the people who bleed two-tone blue. But this runs deeper than bad football, man. Titans fans are emotional right now because we've been lied to for the past 5 years. If leadership had just stood up and said that this is a rebuild, it'll take time, we're building towards the new stadium, fans would have backed it because we're loyal. But instead, we've been fed false hope while ownership and leadership consistently avoid accountability. Since hearing Rand Carthon being hired, Amy has not thanked the media, not even once, not even a press conference, and that silence is absolutely deafening. Now, on the field, Calvin Ridley, he's a good man. I saw him get all emotional with Mike Keith's interview when he first came here, and I thought he was going to be a Ring of Honor member, but it's just not working out, and sometimes you got to just move on from talented players when the fit isn't there. At this point, the smartest path forward is to embrace the reset, stockpile draft capital, aim at the future, because if you're serious about changing this franchise, you've got to think long-term and circle Jeremiah Smith in 2027 as the type of generational playmaker this teammate should be getting, baby. This fan base deserves honesty, deserves effort, and deserves respect, and until ownership feels it in their pockets, nothing's going to change. And it kills me to say it, but after a lifetime of backing this team, I'm done footing the bill for lies. Love you guys.
Red Jersey Dylan in Nashville.
Red Jersey. I want some heat this morning.
I understand the frustration. Not here to belittle any of it. I understand why you feel that way. I do.
I'll be honest with Red Jersey real quick before we go to another call. Tickets are still going to sell. People love football. They're going to go to the games. I get what you're saying. It's still going to show up because there are some people that enjoy being in the stadium watching football.
No matter what you have to say, we're here to let you vent this morning. And we go next to Ron in Rockville. What's up, Ron?
Hey, good morning, guys. Long-time loyal listener, and I love what you bring to the game, so I want to give you all a big shout-out.
Thank you.
Pat on the back this morning. You guys do great.
Thanks, Ron.
All right, so in attendance at the game yesterday, long-time season ticket holder. My wife was more frustrated than I was, which is rare. But she's a good football fan. Red Flag had a lot of great points. I don't know what was hotter, the temperature at the game yesterday or everybody's attitudes and frustrations at the gameplay. It seems we're losing at all phases of the game. And I don't want to forget Mike Keith's admission into the Ring of Honor, so well-deserved there for Mike. I had to leave the game early after that because I was just at a breaking point of, I get it, we're going to make rookie mistakes. The preseason, we've heard about how the hopes of and the talk that we had a great pocket to protect Cam in, and he's going to do great. I love Cam Ward. I do believe it was a good pick. He is the future of the franchise, but I also feel bad for the other rookies that were drafted or on the team that came in. I feel especially sorry for Jeff Simmons, who really is the only face of the franchise right now, who's put his heart and soul in. He's embraced the community, the franchise, and the fans have embraced him. And And I know these guys. These guys are professional athletes and have invested so much of their life, to prepare.
We lost Ron.
But I guess the point
now
I'm
you're back.
going to. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm on Bluetooth. So the point I'm really trying to get at is we want to stand behind the franchise as a fan base. We believe in the fan base. It has been a rough few years. I believe we are in a rebuilding phase, but the game is.
Hey, Ron, I'm sorry, man. The Bluetooth keeps coming out, and we are up against it anyway. We got to move on. Appreciate the call. Sorry, we've got so many people waiting in line that the connection just cutting it out means we got to keep it rolling. But more of the same, Ramon, from Ron.
Ron and Rockville, I think your point was at some point time got to be given to allow this thing to be built the right way.
Yep. Let's get one more in here before the end of hour 2. Dante's in Kentucky. What's up, Dante?
What's up, Dante?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Man, I love the show. It's like my morning coffee.
Thank you.
I'll try to do it as quick as I can. So if I'm Calvin Ridley, he's got feet for hands. I agree. Maybe it's time to move on for him, or I'm not a fan. Snead, I think, is a fraud. He's got more hands on these receivers than a lady at a nail shop. Callahan's a fraud also. Hey, we've seen 3 quarterbacks, and they all look trash in his system. I mean, we saw Levis look the same as Cam Ward, and that's crazy. It's like you saw these flashes, but I think it's actually his system that sucks. I think these long developing plays, they don't help a young quarterback. They don't help a struggling line. So I'm not a fan. Man, I think we got a lot of guys out there. We saw Alec Ayumanner look stand out. Like, he looks like a number 1 receiver. We saw Lockett finally get on the field. So it's like we got some pieces there, and then we see them sporadically used. And I get it. Calvin, he makes a lot of money, so you got to play him. But if he's not working in the system, like, what's the point? But I almost to the point, as a lifelong Vols fan, I say lifelong Vols fan, I've been yelling at the TV for the Vols since 97. I watched Peyton Manning lose in 97. I watched T. Martin winning in 98. I'm a huge Vols fan, but I'm almost to the point where I'd rather spend my money in Nashville to go watch Vandy play than pay for another ticket in the Titan Stadium. That's all I got.
Thank you, Dante.
Whoa, Dante.
I mean, Vandy's got a dang good football team right now.
I'm not denying that.
No, nobody's arguing that. That's for sure. No. Quickly, Ramon, before we get to the end of the hour, do you feel like there are too many slow developing plays?
A little bit, yep.
Okay.
Remember we spoke about this on Friday? Quick pace, line of scrimmage, tempo.
Yeah, we did. We talked about it Friday.
Also, looking at some of the plays and pressures that Cam had, they knew that, or at least was a game plan for that defense. Soon as they saw Cam turn his back, they were triggering linebackers on him.
Yeah. Coming up, Brian Callahan has a big decision to make about how this staff operates and calls games moving forward. And we'll go to the end of the first half, talk about again what Brian Callahan should have done and did not do in a second quarter situation that was not good, and look at the point total the Titans need to win any given Sunday and what needs to happen next. That's next. Relocating in Nashville might sound simple, might sound easy. Hey, everybody wants to move to Nashville, but you need a plan. You need a local agent that can help you relocate. You don't need that agent that's got the for sale sign gathering dust in your neighborhood. You need my friend Bernie Gallerani. Selling your home doesn't have to be stressful, not when you have the right team by your side. Just ask Lindsay, whose experience with Bernie Gallerani Real Estate made all the difference. From day one, she felt supported and confident thanks to a level of detail and care that turned a potentially overwhelming process into a seamless success. The results? Her home sold in just 8 days. That's the kind of speed and service you can expect when you work with a team that truly knows the market and puts your needs first. If you're ready to sell and want a team that goes above and beyond, call Bernie Gallerani Real Estate today or head online to BernieGallerani.com. The number, it's Bernie's personal cell phone. That's how confident he is in his ability to help you. 615-428-2644. That's 615-428-2644, or start online at BernieGallerani.com. That's Bernie Gallerani Real Estate online at BernieGallerani.com. Are you trapped in a high-rate mortgage watching your hard-earned money vanish every month? Stop. Right now at Loan Pronto, they are delivering the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Loan Pronto's rate reduction home loan program is a streamlined, low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR and close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases, and here's the kicker. You can skip your next 2 house payments entirely. Don't wait. Rates this low won't last. Call Loan Pronto now for your free no-obligation quote. Loan Pronto is amazing. Imagine lower payments, more money in your pocket, and a fresh start with a better mortgage. Call 615-499-5780 or visit loanpronto.com to lock in your new low rate and skip those next 2 payments. Don't let high rates hold you back. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com right now. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Work. It's what we do. Part of who we are. There is joy in work. And no matter what size your business is, the dedicated commercial team at Two Rivers Ford will find the work trucks and vans that keep your business moving. And Two Rivers is the only dealer that offers a 90-day free fleet management program that can help you save money on every single mile. The Commercial Vehicle Center at Two Rivers Ford. We work for you.
It is 8:03. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Tennessee Titans fall to 0-3 on the season after a big 41-20 loss to AFC South Division rival Indianapolis Colts yesterday at Nissan Stadium. Cam Ward completed 23 of 38 passes for 219 yards, a touchdown, and also his first career interception that was returned for a touchdown by Colts cornerback Kenny Moore on the third play of the game. Tony Pollard found the end zone on a 1-yard rush in the third quarter, and wide receiver Alec Ayumanner with his second touchdown reception of his short career on a 4th and goal midway through the fourth quarter. Kicker Joey Sly went 2 for 4 on field goal tries, hitting from 57 and 42 yards, but missed his first and second field goals of the season from 64 and 62. For the Colts, running back Jonathan Taylor with a big day, having 3 rushing touchdowns. The Titans did force the Colts, though, to punt for the first time this season, ending an NFL history-long 9-quarter streak. Titans head coach Brian Callahan is scheduled to meet with the media coming up this morning, and you can hear that right here on 104.5 The Zone. Another NFL news, a wild Sunday slate as 7 games were decided in the final 2.5 minutes, and there were also 9 non-offensive touchdowns on the day yesterday. 4 interceptions, 2 punt returns, 2 blocked field goals, and 1 fumble recovered, all returned for touchdowns. On Saturday, the Tennessee Vols improved to 3-1 on the year, beating the UAB Blazers 56-24, and the Vanderbilt Commodores put up a 70-burger on Georgia State, beating the Panthers 70-21, and they start their 4-0. Best start to the season since back in 2008. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you've got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show and hour number 3 getting started on this Monday morning. Reaction Monday on Ramon and Will is always fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Every show is fueled by Scooter's Coffee. A cinnamon roll could brighten your day. A flavored blend of black coffee. Maybe you want a latte. Maybe it's the pumpkin. Maybe it's a protein smoothie. You're not a coffee person. You're not like us that run on this stuff. You can go by and get some in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. He's Ramon Foster doing the show from Knoxville this morning. I'm Will Bowling. Justin Hawkins taking your phone calls. What is the most disappointing part of the Titans 0-3 start? Want to hear from you. We'll get to your takes on that. 615-737-1045. Ramon, what was the most disappointing part of yesterday's defeat, in your opinion?
Knowing that there was deficiencies over the right side and it actually show up.
Right side of the offensive line?
Yeah, right side of the offensive line. I actually thought there would be some ability to stop the rush and not have Cam be happy feet and moving around the pocket the way they did, because you knew this was a glaring deficiency. And it still showed up. I side-eyed the heck out of that, because when the thing you want to do as a competitor, and Will, you know this, is to minimize your weaknesses. They weren't minimized at all yesterday. They showed up time and time again.
Yeah. I think it's that. I think it is, mostly the way the first half ended to me is what's disappointing. Out of this game. And the Titans had an opportunity after a missed Indianapolis Colts field goal to cut this to a 1-score lead at halftime. The Titans had the ball on the Colts' 48-yard line of the 2-minute warning after a missed field goal with 3:15 left that set the Titans up at their own 41. After the 2-minute warning, Pollard run for 6 yards on 1st and 10. Pollard run for 2 yards on 3rd and 4. Pollard run for 1 yard on 3rd and 2. Timeout Colts, 42 seconds left on the Colts' 39, which would have set up either a 56 or 57-yard field goal. The Titans then called a timeout as well. They kept the offense on the field, and then after seeing the defense on the field, they brought out the kick team. They didn't have time to get the kick team on and get a kicking ball out there, which we'll talk about in a minute. And they took a delay of game, forced a 62-yard field goal. Joey Sly missed it, and the Colts went down and scored. And at that point, it felt like you were behind a boulder that you were trying to push uphill. There was no coming back from that at that point. I think that Brian Callahan and the Titans offensive coaching staff has to go down swinging. And in that moment, I get the risk associated with opening up the playbook. I get that you feel really good about Joey Sly and you felt like, hey, we can get this to a one-score game and not let them have the ball back. Great. Let's run this thing down to 40 seconds. Let's make it an 8-point game at halftime. This team playing against that offense, Ramon, I think the coaching staff made a miscalculation on how many points they needed to win the game.
Yeah.
That's where I think this team and staff made a mistake. I think they needed more. I mean, clearly the Colts scored 41, and that's a tip of the cap to the Colts that I think are a really good offense. I want to see them go down swinging, airing it out, because this team's best pathway to success is number one out of Miami, Cam Ward. And I get that receivers got to catch the ball. I understand that Calvin Ridley had 7 targets and hauled in one of them yesterday. But Elikai Manor looks like a wide receiver 1. Chika Okonkwo has been dynamic with the ball in his hands and has had sure hands, although there was one he'd probably like back from yesterday. If this team is going to go down, Ramon, and lose games, I would rather them go down taking risks and taking shots with Cam Ward than running it, being conservative, and trying to be run the ball in defense. And we had this conversation last week. So hindsight's not 20/20 on this, because leading into the game, Ramon, what did we say Friday? There's risk associated with it because of your backup tackles and because of how much Cam plays off script. But at some point, you're going to have to live and die by your rookie quarterback, because that guy's your future.
Yep.
And I didn't think that they put Cam in the position to take shots, take risks, and take over the game. And I thought that situation was the best example of it. I was disappointed in that sequence, and I thought it was mismanaged in pretty much every way. I'd rather them make the wrong decision than make no decision in that moment and be indecisive, take a delay a game, and then all of a sudden the Colts have the opportunity to go score as well.
You know, the other part of that too, the known commodity of what Jonathan Taylor was.
Mm-hmm.
His last 4 showings against the Titans, I just want to see what it looked like for him, because you knew they were going to feed him the ball. And I don't think he had a great week the week before, but he's had 62 rushing attempts, 396 yards in the last showings against the Titans, and a couple of them he wasn't in. 6 touchdowns with 11 receptions and 59 yards. He was averaging 99 yards a game against the Titans, 15 carries, and about 6.4 yards a carry against them. And he did it again.
Yep. Jonathan Taylor's a dang good football player. Really, really good football player. And he was the best version of himself yesterday. I think it was, he had 94 yards after contact in this game. I mean, he only had, 100? I just accidentally exited out. I hate when you do that, when you're clicking on a tab and then you accidentally hit the X. I think it was 104 yards is what it was, or just over 100 yards. And like 90% of them were after contact. I mean, he was great, but the Titans also, a shorthanded defensive line without Devondre Sweat, had a more difficult job of getting him behind the line and wrapping him up.
Who's also on IR now?
Yes. Re-injured last week, according to a report from Paul Kaharski on Thursday. Re-aggravated the injury. Nico is up next. What's up, Nico?
Man, what's going on, guys? Good morning to you. Y'all hit it on the head, basically what I wanted to talk about. How Reed, I don't know what's going on with him and these drops, and how, Alec Ironman is looking like the number 1. But for some reason, I also see, lack of discipline, and also, every time we feel like we're going forward, we get a good play, we get a flag or something, and it just pushes us back. And it's little things like that were discipline, coming up football, we used to always get, if you did something, you're only as strong as your weakest link. If you do something on the team that hurts the team and it puts us in a bad spot, you would pay for it. As a youngin' coming up, that you get taught that, and the little leagues and everything else coming up. It's I understand with NFL players, grown men, it's a lack of discipline. It's also I'm watching a coach is still a rookie coach or something. He's never been involved in football. And his father being there and everything else, You would think he would know some of these things of the game. And like you said, I'd rather them take chances with Cam taking shots instead of, being indecisive how they are. It's almost like you don't know what you're watching, know what you're getting, like you're pulling stuff out of a hat.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if they could just find some kind of discipline, because I feel like we lack that, and if, do some kind of, what is it? No huddle for Cam. It seems like he'll make better decisions if he just doesn't have to think so much. Because, like you said, it's slow development plays. If we got stuff that's, quick hitters or whatever else, and we're moving, he doesn't have to get in that huddle and think about the last throw. He can just get straight to the next one.
Sure.
But that's all. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Nico. Appreciate the call.
Hands.
Thank you, Nico. Appreciate the call. I get it. I do think there were shots called. I think there were shot plays they tried to hit, and they couldn't protect them long enough. But I thought specifically, Ramon, they could have done more than run 62-yard field goal at the end of the first half. That is a specific moment where they could have been more aggressive, and in my opinion, should have been more aggressive.
They are. And what sucks is all of these attempts to get points or to make the best decision has failed. Callahan, I think, mentioned that too. It was like, well, when we were in Denver, I was trying to throw the ball backed up, and that didn't work. And like he understands the situation that he's in.
Mm-hmm.
And to Nico's point, Nico's talking about pressure. Where's the pressure inside of the building? Where's the pressure from the coaching staffs that you don't want to let your teammates down and set a precedent for everybody's held accountable?
Right.
Like, that's what he's asking for.
Again, we said at the end of the second hour, I guess the middle of the second hour, that we'd had college football stuff planned to maybe get in here, but we do not have a single open phone line because you all are taking all of them. So we're going to let the people speak. We're going to let you guys vent. We're going to let you talk about the Titans. And if you want to weigh in, the F&M Bank chat is open. There is no line on the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel. 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. You hit the comment sections there. There is a very large community of you that are discussing this game there. Coming up, Ramon, I want to ask you this, and I want to ask the callers this. What is the one thing that is most disappointing about the 0-3 start? That's next. Ramona Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone. Ramon's in Knoxville. I'm in Nashville, and you are on the phones at 615-737-1045. Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet, where you can go to get you some scooters to pick you up this morning. Ramon, we just asked about the micro. What about the macro? I asked you before the break, what was most disappointing about yesterday's loss? For you, about where this team is at 0-3 and where we are heading into a 3-game road trip, and the next time that the Titans play at home, Mike Vrabel's coming to town. What is the most disappointing part to you of how we got here? What are the things you want to see less that are the biggest concerns for you in this 0-3 start? Ramon is not there. Never mind.
Ramon, you're muted.
Ramon is muted. The words we've been saying a lot over the last 5
I'm
years.
disappointed in me.
No, you're fine.
That's what I'm disappointed
You're
in.
good. You're good. A little slight demerit, but we'll make it. What's the most disappointing part of 0-3 to you?
The macro side of it to me is both sides of the O and D line. No progress over the last couple of years with with Coach Bill Callahan, that we were told the offensive line progressively supposed to get better. I think you went out and got high caliber talent with JC and Peter and Lloyd and Dan. And then defensively, the lack of having guys that are impact. I mean, playmakers. That's the part of it for me. Like, we're discussing these last 3 teams that the Titans have played. All of them have heavily invested in D and offensive line, and that's where the game has been lost each and every week. I feel like that the Titans have kicked the football off. That's the biggest one to me, and I know there are others.
Yeah. I think it's the lack of identity. It's the lack of something to hang your hat on. When we were asked in the offseason about what does this team do well and what's the strength of the Tennessee Titans, Ramon, we thought it was going to be up front on offense.
We did.
I was wrong on how quickly I thought this offensive line could come together and be the biggest positive. The injuries on the right side haven't helped. Lloyd Cushenberry coming off of a long-term injury hasn't helped. So maybe I had unfair expectations, and I can admit that at this point, that I probably expected too much. But I am struggling, Ramon, to see where this team consistently finds success and what they do really well, aside from special teams. Yeah. Bones Fossil's crew is the best group on the field. Jim DK looks like a stud at returner. Elikai Manner's a good receiver. Joey Sly should be a Pro Bowler. I don't care that he missed 2 kicks over 60 yards. Joey Sly looks terrific at kicker as long as he just keeps this up. That's the thing that's concerning. It's 7 targets and 1 catch for Calvin Ridley. It is conservative game planning and scheming that doesn't get the most out of your really exciting quarterback. And while yes, Ramon, I think that this team's got a really good rookie class and has put together a foundational group of players that may be the future, there's not enough that this team is consistently putting on the field that they do well week in and week out for us to say, yep, that's who the Titans are. Right now, unfortunately, who the Titans are penalties and big mistakes that kill drives and derail drives. That's it.
It is. And just to add to before we go back to the calls, every attempt made has failed too. I don't know legitimately where to throw a dart at on the bullseye, you know what I'm saying, on the board to say, hey, this is why. It almost as if like you got to take a rehab house.
It's not just play calling. It's not just quarterback. It's not just the O-line. It's not Will Levis this time. It's not just receivers not catching it. It's not inability to tackle. It's not just injuries. It's not just L'Jarius Sneed. It's all of it, Ramon. It is. And that is the frustrating part is, yes, you've played 3 good teams. Yes, the Colts, I think, are going to win the division. But there's a lot of yes and there's a lot of frustrating elements of this football team that have brought us to where we are today, which is 0-3.
Savage said he in a rehab house right now. Well, you and a lot of other people are mentally there, Savage. Right.
Let's go back to the phones. Chisholm is up next. What's up, Chisholm?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Morning.
I just want to talk about the play calling is the most. I don't get why nobody hasn't took it out of his hands yet. Like he don't have the ability to adjust. He doesn't have the ability to call the right plays. He just give it to is it Nick Holtz, our OC? Give it to him. Can he do worse?
Don't ask that question. Don't ask that question, Chisholm.
I'm just saying, man, because it's like, what are you doing? What is Callahan really doing for this offense? That's helping this offense? Nothing. And I know it's the mental of the players, and I know that it's on the players also. But his play calling is atrocious. It sucks. And that's all I wanted to say today. The play calling sucks. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Chisholm. Appreciate the call. Where does play calling rank for you, Ramon, on the list of Titans issues right now?
I think for a lot of this fan base, it's probably near the top because you were paired up with a quarterback that you had the ability to handpick and prep for and be ready for and set up everything that's surrounding him. You got an offensive line. You paid an enormous amount of money the last couple of years, either through the draft or through free agency to set them up. You got your running back in place that you were a part of bringing in. There was a lot of ands in this situation. You got young receivers. You got Calvin. You got Lockett. You got Chig. Players that you could plan for. And that's what sucks for Coach Callahan is this. If the offensive plays are bad or it looks bad as a whole, it's only one person to point at. And that's the guy that's orchestrated it all. And that's Coach Brian Callahan. So you give up the play calling, but he's also the guy that brought in Nick Holtz to help assist him with this. So if you're telling me that Nick Holtz is assisting him to put him in the best position to be a head coach or be a play caller on game day, then it also means this is a reflection of Nick Holtz play calling too, in my personal opinion. This is his underling, the guy that he brought in here to assist him. And if Callie sucks or you don't like his play calling, passing off to Nick Holtz does more for you. That's why I said, Chisholm, don't ask how much worse it can get for Coach Nick Holtz.
Things can always
get worse.
Always. Yep. No doubt. Let's go to Swift up next. What's up, Swift?
What's going on, fellas? Man, I just wanted to chat with you today. I seen Ramon standing on the field yesterday while I was sitting in the suite at the game, and it's just honestly like Arden Key and the D-line, man, like we've had, 3 weeks, we've only had 2 sacks. I don't think Arden Key's had a sack since the 2020 season. I don't know, they just trotting around, but we need some more activity on the edge. Like, we need some pressure. Like, Danny Dimes is standing eating dinner in the backfield yesterday, and it's horrible. But that's the main thing we can change. And I love our special teams. Our special teams is the best thing we got on our team right now. We all excited to see DK get a return, so I can listen to y'all on that. But that's the only positive.
Yeah, thank you, Swift. Appreciate the call. Why do you think, Ramon, the Colts had so much success on that same bootleg rollout? I mean, I've never seen a team run so many bootlegs in one football game.
Man, they had balance and playmakers that could catch the ball. They had real threats over there. Daniel Jones could also just sit in the pocket and wait. Like, his maneuverability up in the pocket. That is what I will say is a little bit of the difference. Daniel Jones moved up. Cam moved sideways. You know, like his eyes were able to be on all his receivers. And then you also, this part too, you have bigger threats in the Colts receiving or the skill players more than I think you do with the Titans. That's the other part. You feared what Tyler Warren was and didn't even know what he was. Michael Pittman Jr., another one of those playmakers. And then, of course, when you have the balance of what Jonathan Taylor provided for them, there was threats there that you feared. You feared that the offensive line for the Colts would push and would move their players forward. You didn't get that. They attacked everything about the Titans offensive line and dictated what they allowed you to do in moments.
Right. Let's go to Gordon, who is in Hermitage, up next. What's up, Gordon?
Hey, guys. Just talking about Pittman's comment that we weren't ready to play the game. And, you know, you already touched on it. Will, you basically said, what's our identity? We don't really have one. But where's the culture been? I mean, I just want to ask you all that question. I mean, we used to be smash mouth football. We used to be in the trenches. No matter what, we were scrappy in games. Even when we were terrible, we were trying to beat a division rival, and we kept it close. So I'm going to hang up, and I just want to pose that question. Where's our culture at? Where's it been? So I'll let you guys speak.
Thank you, Gordon. I do want to get to Brian Callahan's answer on this because he was asked, do you feel like you still have the locker room, Ramon? And he gave an interesting answer that we can play in a minute. But it's a good question on culture because this organization feels good about the overall mood and feeling in that locker room. But as we said, Ramon, in preseason, you learn what your culture is after you play football games. You learn what your culture is when things start to get hard for the first time. And there's a reason why teams don't feel like they have culture problems in preseason because everybody's happy to be there. What happens when you start losing some games? We're about to find out what the Titans' culture is because, yes, I do think there is young leadership on this team. Being on the sidelines, I can tell you firsthand, guys like Chimere Dike are speaking up. Obviously, we know Cam Ward is speaking up. I do think there is an ownership of things that is being taken by some of the younger players who were just drafted and brought in. But, Ramon, it's hard not to question culture when you hear Michael Pittman Jr. say something like that. And to the point you made earlier that I'd like for you to dive into again for people who weren't awake yet this morning, you noticed the same thing before the game being down there.
I did. Like I said earlier, I told my wife before the game started up, I was like, they look like a team that's going to lose today. It was low coming out of the tunnel. It was not much bounce in their step. There was nobody that was really dragging anybody else. They simply looked like they were going through the motions like, okay, we got to play a football game. And probably in the back of their mind, because of the amount of injuries they have and guys who are out at key positions and also having a rookie quarterback, probably didn't feel much of a need to exert too much more in pregame because they knew that it was going to have to be a fight, a claw, an absolute just battle to get anything out of themselves. Like, we're legitimately looking at those guys. And if it's true and there's audio of what Michael Pittman Jr. said, I saw the exact same thing.
There's not audio of it, but I've got the quote. Well, I'll get it in a second as I try to find it.
But it was exactly as he described, man. For a team that's the top 1% of athletes as far as football was concerned, the motivation wasn't there. The caller asked, where's the culture? The culture goes whenever you change the front office, whenever you change coaching staffs again, when you lose. Like, I don't even know if we can call it losing culture at this point because it feels like you're in purgatory.
Right. Jeremy Gover at It's Gover Time tweeted it out from Michael Pittman Jr. in the Colts locker room. Quote, saw it on the pregame intros. They kind of looked a little sluggish. They were kind of walking around. Nobody was really bouncing. Right then and there, we all sat there and were like, quote, they don't want to play today, end quote. Colts wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr. There you go.
I've seen this in the middle of the games before, Will, when you get guys, when you get teams. Like, my goal is my goal for our offensive line was this. If we're got you on your back foot, Will, my goal was this. I don't want you to look over at me and look me in the eyes by the time the game is over. Like, if I'm looking at you, you look towards the ground, I'm taking your will away. Like he said, coming through the tunnel, you got a rookie and doggone Femio Ladejo that's just trotting through. And I know there's different ways to get hyped for a game and get ready for the game. But the excitement of being announced in front of your home crowd with the smoke coming out, like there's something to be had to be a guy that's been announced in the games like that. And it was low. It was exactly as I saw. And you also said that, who was it? Snead and Roger McCreary said the exact same thing after the game. It was flat.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's true. They did say
so
that.
It was backed up.
It was. Yeah, it's an issue. It is. There's no doubt. Chase is up next. Go ahead, Chase.
Morning, guys. I'm so glad y'all are touching on this. I saw the same thing, Ramon. Sitting my nephew next to me, season ticket holder. I told him midway through the first quarter, no energy whatsoever. Defense, offense, nobody had any energy from the start of that game. And I hate to keep piling on Callahan. I'm the guy was piling on him week one. But what does that say about Callahan? These guys are smart. They got social media. They know what's going on. They know this dude is coaching for his life. and he can't get them to come out in essentially, we won't call it a must-win, but he's almost a point of no return. He can't get his players to come play for him when he's coaching for his life. And I hate to say it, but I'm pretty sure I saw Jerry Sneed and Calvin Ridley make business decisions yesterday. Well, Jerry Sneed wanted no part of Jonathan Taylor on that end around by me. He wanted no part of him. And that is, and I'll real quick, Will, and I'll be gone. That's why I get the argument, Ramon. Like, I get it. Like, for Cam's sake, why do you fire Brian Callahan at week 4 and just turn it over to Skip to Holtz? Legitimate argument. But if he loses the team, which is worse? If he's lost the locker room and the team, to me, that damages your young quarterback more than anybody. You're going to have a bunch of guys making business decisions all year with your rookie quarterback? Nah, man. Give me an interim that they'll play for. Anyway, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Chase. Ramon, you agree with that?
He make a good point, but I view Callahan and Holtz as one and the same. I personally don't have enough faith in the fact that Nick Holtz can call a game. Because if he could,
Mike McCoy on staff as well.
Oh, Mike McCoy. What is his philosophy? Like, at this point, also, like, it's Callahan's playbook. That's what has to be called.
Yep.
That's the other part. Like, Mike McCoy can't pull out like his Coach Klein playbook on waterboard and it's like, ooh, look at all these brand new plays. The offensive install is Brian Callahan's DNA. Unless you have a better flow of play calling or coaches taking suggestions. Like, I know coaches that say, I don't care what good ideas come from if they help us win.
Well, again, I think, too, like the issue is not the decisions as much as it is the lack of decisions, meaning when you got 2 timeouts in a row with 42 seconds in the second quarter, you got to either kick it or you got to go. You got to make a choice. Yeah. And having 2 timeouts worth of time to make a decision and bring the special teams unit out there and get the K-ball, get the kicking ball ready, like that decision just got to be made more quickly. I don't care if it's the wrong one as much as I do just make a decision.
Yeah. I also didn't like how they showed the Titans staffer on the side with the K on his chest as if it was his fault for not getting the ball in too. That was kind of messed up. That wasn't his fault right there. If he tried to get the ball in and the referee said no, that was jacked up.
More of your phone calls coming up next. Joey will lead us off. 615-737-1045. Ramon and Will from 1045 The Zone. Ramona Willow, 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up hour number 3. Open for your phone calls. Got a couple lines open at 615-737-1045. The number, we've got Ramon Foster out here talking about trade scenarios for Mike Tomlin at the F&M Big Chat. That's where things are on this Monday.
I did. Well, listen, I know Pittsburgh fans get hot and cold with Mike Tomlin too. Heck, at this point, you're going to have a top draft pick again. Aaron Rodgers is probably going to retire after this season. They're going to need a quarterback. It's a perfect setup for me. Am I going too far?
615-737-1045 is our number. Joey is in Cross Plains. Hey, Joey.
Good morning, Ramon. Morning, Will.
Morning.
So my biggest disappointment, if I could speak this morning, is the discipline of this team and all the penalties. I can't remember, and with the vision, it's hard to sometimes, but I don't remember us having this many penalty yards in the first 3 games of the season in a while. And with the coaching staff, it was pointed out to me last week that the Titans have pretty much hired Ken Wisenhunt 2.0. All the stats from what's going on now to with him are almost exactly the same. So, we've hired Ken Wisenhunt 2.0, and it's not turning out. It's like it was the last time we hired him. It's not working out. So, I think, some changes need to be made. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, Joey. Titans are second in the league with 261 penalty yards and second in the league. Actually, no, tied for first in the league with 31 penalties against.
Dang. I wasn't here for the Wisenhunt era. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I'm guessing that's not a good era.
No, it's not anywhere close to what you want to be compared to.
Okay.
The difference is probably in the people. Brian Callahan's a good guy. I'm not trying to take any shots about Wisenhunt. I won't speak to who he was. I wasn't here. I wasn't covering that team. I mean, heck, I was a kid. I think you want to sympathize with Brian Callahan because you legitimately want him to succeed because he's a good dude. Now, granted, there's a lot of good dudes that don't want coaching football teams, but so I'm not making that point either. I'm just saying, that's probably the difference, but it's not an era you want to be compared to. No, not at all.
No. Well, okay.
Greg is in Smyrna. Up next. Hey, Greg.
Hey guys, I'll try to be brief. I'm 54, so I've been around much like you guys, just over a period of a lifetime. I grew up around the Dallas Cowboy era, so I saw their up and down success growing up in Texas, and I'll try to be brief with regards. I'm a Colts fan. Been a Colts fan all my life. My mother and father both got me into football. My grandmother got me into football, watching Super Bowls back when the Cowboys were great. And I'm talking about the 70s. I'm not talking about, So I've been around for a little bit, but I want to tell you a little bit about what I've seen success-wise in my team in the Colts. And I'm just telling you guys because it is not a quick 1 or 2. You know this very well, guys, is that it's not a 1 or 2 year process. Even when we got Peyton Manning back in the day, we had an excellent GM, which I still think Chris Ballard is. It has taken Chris Ballard alone 10 years to build a solid offensive line, backup offensive linemen that stepped in this year, 2 of them, and they didn't miss a beat. They're still a great offensive line. That shows you the importance of depth in an offensive and the defensive line. Their defensive line can be dominant. They're just now going out and getting decent. They finally found a quarterback. It is a risky thing. It's not buy this and all of a sudden you get a perfect quarterback. It has taken years to get that right. We think Daniel Jones is right, but we really don't know. Ramon, you know that it's a gambling league. So, but my point being is that when Peyton Manning left, our team was in disarray for about 10 years. Even with Andrew Luck, we didn't have a great GM or coaches. So it takes a while. Well, when we found Ballard's now, like I said, taken almost a decade to slowly but surely build a great offensive line, D line. We've got, believe it or not, some of the best wide receiving group over the past 5 years. It's been consistent. Now we got Tyler Warren, and the skill group is pretty good. Our coaching, he took criticism over the last couple of years, but he's doing great. He's steady, and now it's showing. So it takes years, not a 1 or 2 year process. your guys at home have a solid, whether you know it or not, I believe you have a solid GM because he came from a great organization in the Kansas City Chiefs. But again, it's not going to take 1 or 2 years. You guys have the right quarterback. I watched yesterday and I watched him in college. This guy has so much skill.
Thanks, Greg. I'm sorry. We gotta wrap it up here. I apologize. It's not personal. You made some good points.
Greg,
we just have a lot of people on the line. I apologize.
It ain't you, Greg. It's YouTube that says you told them you was gonna be brief, and then you proceeded to not be brief, Greg. They called you out. It wasn't us.
It always is unfortunate.
And they also didn't like a Colts fan consoling them this morning.
It is unfortunate when people say they're going to be brief and then aren't brief. But Greg made some good points. Ramon, to that point.
Long story short, it was a long story.
Yeah, it was. Ramon, he brings up a good point. This is a rebuild.
That's true.
This is a roster that is devoid of a lot of experienced depth. That was exposed yesterday on the right side of the offensive line. That was exposed at corner. That was exposed at defensive line. So, again, Brian Callahan is working with what he has. And unfortunately, this is a roster with not a lot of margin for error that has error because it's very injured. That being said, Ramon, there are still controllables that Brian Callahan has that are under his control that are not being controlled, right? Like, what we got to be able to call a spade and say two things are true. This team does not have a lot of depth and cannot afford a lot of injuries. However, game management, game planning, and the overall identity of the Titans that is controlled by Brian Callahan, that's been inconsistent, Ramon.
Yeah. It has been. And the attempt to reset this team on as far as what he wanted to look like didn't happen. He wanted to make it competitive. He wanted to have it as if they were great teammates to one another. And again, all of that is fine until you get to the season. Like the stress points that he attempted to have, the going on the road 13 days in a row, the joint practices, the way they ran after practice and everything. Like you got to be able to show them also from a coaching's perspective that you know what you're doing, that you can call a game, that you can manage a game, that you won't have these moments where in Denver, not throwing the flag to challenge a completion is problematic. The delay of games that have been consistent, I think, each of the first 3 weeks. And, of course, the 2 minutes and a half that we just experienced inside of Nissan Stadium, too. Right. It just looks disjointed. You're right. He can control that, the pre-snap stuff. You can't necessarily blame the coach, but the pressure to not mess it up needs to be applied. And I feel like that's missing some.
Ultimately, the staff is responsible for the mistakes and the penalties and the lack of flow and rhythm to this offense. I mean, when you make the same mistakes over and over, Ramon, the coaching staff is what is held accountable. That's just the way this works. That's the NFL. And that's where we are.
Either you're coaching it or you're allowing it.
615-737-1045. We'll start with Dale when we come back. Brian Callahan was asked if there is still buy-in in the Titans locker room, and he brought up an old phrase that will sound very familiar. We'll play it for you next. What's up? It's Will Bowling. You've heard me talk about my new obsession, Daisy French onion dip. This stuff is terrific. Whether it's the kettle cooked chips, whether it's veggies, was popping in some wings in the air fryer a couple of weeks ago. I was trying the pretzel sticks in it. This stuff is versatile, guys. No matter where you are watching football, no matter who's at your watch party or your tailgate, make sure that somebody, make it you, is bringing the Daisy French onion dip if you want to be popular with your friends. Daisy Ranch dip as well. I'm telling you, these are a game changer. They're as delicious as a homemade dip, and they're made with real herbs and spices, plus other ingredients you'd find in your own kitchen. So I suggest you give it a try. Check out Daisy French onion dip, Daisy Ranch dip at a grocery store near you. That's the best news I've got for you. You're going to be able to find Daisy French onion dip anywhere you go to pick up your groceries. Check it out. Daisy French onion dip at a grocery store near you.
It is 9:01. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Tennessee Titans fall to 0-3 on the season after a 41-20 loss to AFC South Division rival Indianapolis Colts yesterday at Nissan Stadium. Cam Ward completed 23 of 38 passes for 219 yards, a touchdown, and his first career interception that was returned for a touchdown by Colts cornerback Kenny Moore on just the third play of the game. Tony Pollard found the end zone on a 1-yard rush in the third quarter, and wide receiver Alec Ayumaner with his second touchdown reception of his rookie career on a 4th and goal midway through the fourth quarter. Kicker Joey Sly went 2 for 4 on field goal tries, hitting from 57 and 42, but missed his first and second field goals of the year from 64 and 62. For the Colts, running back Jonathan Taylor with the big day, scoring 3 rushing touchdowns. The Titans did force the Colts to punt for the first time this season, ending an NFL history-long 9-quarter streak. Titans head coach Brian Callahan is scheduled to meet with the media coming up around 11 a.m. this morning. You can hear that right here on 104.5 The Zone. In other NFL news, a wild Sunday slate yesterday as 7 games were decided in the final 2.5 minutes. There were also 9 non-offensive touchdowns on the day, 4 interceptions, 2 punt returns, 2 blocked field goals, and 1 fumble recovered, all returned for touchdowns. And on Saturday, the Tennessee Vols beat the UAB Blazers 56-24 to improve to 3-1 on the year. And the Vanderbilt Commodores crushed Georgia State, beating the Panthers 70-21 and have their first 4-0 start to a season since back in 2008. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you've got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into hour number 4, 9 a.m. on your Monday morning and Reaction Monday. Ramona Will is brewed by Scooters Coffee, 615-737-1045. Got 3 lines open if you want them. If you want in, reacting to the Titans and Colts yesterday, Ramon Foster, things are bleak. And the calls have certainly reflected that this morning.
Yes, they are, man, and we're just now getting to the first quarter of the season in week 4. We always ask that question at the beginning of the season: how long will it take continuity and everybody to gel? Heck, I feel like they fractured more, Will, since the season started. Yep. Nothing's come together.
Brian Callahan was asked if he had lost the locker room and the buy-in that he is getting from his players. The head coach of the Tennessee Titans said this after the game.
I don't think, the one thing I know about our guys is they fight and they work, and we fought in that game. We fought as hard as we could and ultimately didn't play well enough to win, but I don't have any questions about guys buy-in. I know how they perform. I know what they are in the building. I know how they work. And we just got to find a way to play better on Sundays at the end of the day. And that's everybody. We got to coach better. We got to play better. All that stuff matters. But I don't have any doubts about what these guys do and think at this moment.
Did you catch it, Ramon?
What I'm talking about, like an MLB catcher right there.
You got it. You got the fastball over the middle.
I'm talking about high and inside.
Got to coach better, got to play better, were the words from Brian Callahan.
Coaches and players both. That's usually the change up right there too. Fastball first pitch.
Yes.
Breaking ball next pitch is players and coaches both.
Those are bad words to be put together. It's not Brian's fault. We're being kind of sarcastic, but also it's a sign of where things are. It's a sign. When you're answering questions about have you lost the locker room's not in a good spot. And I do think that things had been better in the preseason. I think you got a more locked in Calvin Ridley because he was getting the ball. I think you got some guys up front who were setting the tone. I think you have the best version of Jeffrey Simmons. Ramon, half those guys are hurt and the other half can't catch the ball.
Yeah. And there's a lot of questions. Somebody asked real quick, Will, the booing didn't help at halftime. Somebody asked Ramon, did booing, getting booed by your own team's fan base help you as a player? I'll tell you this, it ticked you off. It made you want to respond quickly, and more times than not, you did. I just don't. I'm not gonna criticize their competitive nature as a team because that's not my locker room. I don't know those players like that. But what I will say is this: you saw that booing response on their face, with what I could tell. Coach Callahan knows better than I do, and until those players bring it up, heck, Cam Ward acknowledged it too. Like, they deserve the boo. It's bad.
Yep, that's fair. I am I'm an anti-boo your own team kind of person, but just because I'm not going to do it doesn't mean that I don't get when y'all do. I understand it. Cam Ward understood it. He said after the game, he said, I would have been frustrated too. At this point, like, it's understandable. It is. Yeah. Ramon, we have some breaking college football news. Do you want me to mix in?
Oh, man. Boy, I thought you was about to say
45,
something else.
Nope. You want me to mix in about 45 seconds of college football news that just came out from Chris Lowe?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do it. SEC annual opponents for the next 4 seasons. You ready? Tennessee will play Alabama, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt for the next 4 seasons every year. Vanderbilt will play Auburn, Tennessee, and Mississippi State as their 4 annual opponents. A lot of Auburn fans in the city of Nashville very happy about that. You are guaranteed trips down the road because so many of you live here. I'm going to run through these really quick, then we're going to get back to phone calls and the Titans. Alabama will play Auburn, Tennessee, and Mississippi State every year. Arkansas will play Missouri, Texas, and LSU. Auburn will play... Maybe Auburn fans aren't happy. Auburn will play Alabama, Georgia, and Vandy every year. Florida gets, sorry, Babs. Florida gets Georgia, South Carolina, Kentucky. Georgia gets Auburn, Florida, South Carolina. Kentucky will get Florida, Tennessee, South Carolina. LSU gets Arkansas, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Vandy, Alabama. Oh, gosh, wow. Missouri gets Arkansas, A&M, and Oklahoma. Oklahoma gets Missouri, Ole Miss, and Texas. That's probably the toughest so far. Ole Miss gets Mississippi State, LSU, Oklahoma. South Carolina plays Georgia, Florida, Kentucky. Texas gets A&M, Arkansas, Oklahoma. A&M plays LSU, Missouri, and Texas. Oh, also tough. Vandy plays, as we said, Auburn, Tennessee, Mississippi State. Vols for the next 4 years, every year, will play Alabama, Vandy, Kentucky. Vandy, who scored 70 in a revenge game over Georgia State and looked incredible doing it.
Yeah. I like those matchups right there. Let other teams also feel that Georgia, Florida, Bama pressure every year. So I absolutely love that for them.
That's right. Vanderbilt is cruising. They're going to be 5-0 when they go to Tuscaloosa after they beat Utah State this weekend. 70 points against Georgia State. Ramon, that is a far departure from when Clark Lee last year said our team was not ready to win this game. They were ready to win that game, and mixing in about 30 seconds of college football here in the Titans Day, Ramon, it's not just Diego Pavia who is standing out for Vandy right now. They have got a team, not just a guy who is running around and making a bunch of plays. They've got that, and they've got a really good football team right now.
Yep. Hey, Clark better slow down, man. Titans going to hit him with an offer he can't refuse, but slow down.
Tennessee, of course, victorious 56 to 20. What was it? 28?
It was 24.
24. 56-24. 6 touchdowns the first 7 drives. A lot of defensive rotation in this game. And I wanted to see George McIntyre, Ramon. I wanted to see more.
Also, I know, and I'll add context to that one too. Also, the 24 points was a bunch of young guys playing in the second half in positions they hadn't been in. Also, I'm sure Tim Banks still didn't like that, but I also look at George not playing as respectful. I think McIntyre's going to be here longer. That's just my perspective on that one.
I know that I would have liked to see him on Saturday.
I know.
I thought Tennessee wasted drives putting Jake Merklinger in there. He's not the future. George is. I thought Josh Heupel made a mistake with that one.
Yeah. We'll talk more. Yeah, for sure.
We'll talk more about it tomorrow. But Tennessee knows it doesn't have as much depth on defense. They tried to build some with Dominic Bailey only had 20 snaps. Isaiah Campbell had 29. Bryson Easton only had 20 snaps. They really rotated a lot. And
yes, they did.
I think that defense will be better for it long term, even though they made some mistakes. So
Hey, and will y'all please also, man, for you prayer warriors out there, put the Florida Gators on there for them.
I thought you were going to bring something serious. Oh, man. I mean, Florida, same old story for Florida. They're close, but they're not that bad. That schedule is just eating them up. I mean, it's a hard morning. If you are a Gator and a Titan this morning, and we have a couple of those that listen to the show regularly, you're on the top of our prayer list. You are.
Hey, man, Miami had barbecue Gator in the locker room. Oh.
And they still had about a 2/3 full stadium to see it. Let's go to Daryl in Mount Juliet, getting back to Titans this morning. What's up, Daryl?
Hey, good morning, fellas.
Morning.
Morning.
Just wanted to call in on the Titans, man. I think it's a top-down problem. It's still the same family running it. They got bounced out of Houston when they were the Oilers. Historically bad. So, I mean, I just feel like that there's so much control coming down to the top. Maybe that's why Callahan couldn't make a decision when we run the ball 3 times and have 2 timeouts and a delay of game. Still don't know what we're doing. It's clearly not just the players. Now, when the players don't catch the ball, yeah, that's a problem. But I feel like it's a top-down, from Amy Adams Strunk, all the way to even the equipment guy. They can't get the right ball out. So apparently there's more that needs to go on than just, hey, we need a new receiver. Hey, this quarterback's going to fix everything, because that's not just the case. Just curious as to what you guys feel about it. In regards to the Mike Tomlin comments, we should have just kept Jeff Fisher if we want another coach that's going to get us 9-8. So, shout out everybody to the YouTube comments. I'll see y'all later. Have a good one.
That's a crazy statement you made at the end there.
That ain't nothing but some Stiller hate right there. I get it. That's an old school AFC Central show.
I'm not even going to touch that one. I mean, look, like ownership has nothing to do with what you're doing on 4th and 1.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. Like, to the point he made about, like, ownership is the reason why, like, how? Like, Amy doesn't have a headset on. Carly, Ursay Gordon does, but, like, I don't know what you want ownership to do. Like, ownership has nothing to do with decisions that get made in game. So if you want to be critical of ownership, you have the right to your opinion, but there's nothing ownership can do, Ramon, once the game starts.
Listen, I know you was working yesterday too, by the way, but like Titan Twitter wanted Miss Amy with a headset on. They want her on the sideline, which is crazy. By the way, Miss Ursay has been on the sideline for years too. By the way, this isn't new. She's been on the sideline.
Yeah, I mean, be critical, be fair, I guess, but like I don't think it's fair to say ownership has anything to do with what you're doing on 4th and 1. And the Titans didn't get the Adams family was not booted out of Houston. They left Houston for Nashville. Like I understand frustration, but let's channel that maybe into the right avenues this morning.
The way that I was understanding it was the hiring decisions that the ownership group has made, not necessarily what the product is on the field, but how the product became what it is on the field due to her decisions or their decisions.
I'm glad you brought that up, Hawk, because here's the other thing, though, too. Owners know the ins and outs of some stuff, but they're also entrusting their think tank, their brain trust to make those the right hires, too. Right? Like, so, again, who do you attack in this? Chad? Mike Berganzi? I mean, do you even go higher than that? Is Burke Nihil in this conversation? Not that I don't think he is. His is business with this team. Like, she's the owner that writes the checks, but she's also trusting her people to put her team in the best position possible to hire the right people to make this team what it is.
615-737-1045, open for more of your thoughts and reactions. Curious where the fans are this morning, Ramon. Are you tuned out? Are you still patient? Do you want changes made? What is next? Moving beyond just the Colts game, 615-737-1045. Where do you want this organization to proceed next, starting this week as they head to Houston, where the organization used to be? That's next. Ramona Willow, 104.5 The Zone, fueled by Scooters Coffee. Hour 4 on this Reaction Monday, live for the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. We go back to the phones, Ramon, and give the people the voice, the platform. Tell us how they feel. Are you tuned out? Are you still patient? Are you out? Are you listening? Bueller? Yeah, many of you are listening because we don't have a phone line available. Alex is next up. What's up, Alex?
What's going on, boys? At least you get half the weekend with the one with the balls. Ain't that right, boys?
That's right.
But I know you guys touched it before the commercial break, but how much blame do we put on this front staff? Did they buy into the hype of Brian Callahan? Did he over-deliver or over-promise in those interview processes? And then as well, what's with the selling of the field goal? This isn't an offense that's going to put 30 to 40 points up a game. This isn't a defense that's going to hold for 4 quarters the whole time. So I think you just got to start trying to go for touchdowns and just be overly aggressive. I'm pretty sure the fans would rather lose with the team being overly aggressive than just settling for Joey's 5-6-yard field goal. All right, I'll listen to what you have to say.
Thank you, Alex. Ramon, what do you think?
He was a little muffled on my end, but he's talking about the aggressiveness of the play calling and how you go out swinging.
Yeah, I think so. And just how much blame do you put on the coaching staff for where we are at this point at 0-3?
I put a good bit on them. I mean, when you take the opportunity to draft a quarterback with an offensive head coach, you speed up the process of judging him. In that, though, too, you can't just throw Cam to the wolves and say, hey, go do this. The thing about it, I think there was a lot of hope in Cam. I'm hoping that he will be the rookie version of C.J. Stroud and then the rookie version of Jaden Daniels. 2 totally different athletes, 2 totally set up different, two teams that are set up totally different like that, too. I do agree. Aggressiveness exposes you, too. You want Cam rolling out of the pocket and shooting the football down the field aggressively. 50-50 balls are probably more like 30-70. You're not going to catch each and every single one of them every single time. Also, the ability to protect and be in a position to where you say to yourself, well, look, we got to be aggressive and move the football down the field and block. Like, you don't have the blockers for that. JC being out is a detriment to this team in a major, major way. You don't have the personnel for this. I will say again, well, I'm not trying to, I told you so with this conversation with how we're going to go about this. But this is why, again, the hope and need for a franchise quarterback, you got to be ready for a franchise quarterback, either through the head coach and leadership or through the team. This team clearly at this point has neither one of them. In hindsight, again, I'll say this, but we said it earlier. I liked the idea of trading back and getting more assets. I personally did until we saw the team commitment to getting a quarterback, namely Cameron Ward. Again, there wasn't a structure, a foundation in place for this, especially with a very young play caller and Brian Callahan with the new offensive line, right? With a defense that you didn't go outside and get edge rushers, and you couldn't because you don't want to spend the money for it. And on top of that, you got skill players that Tyler Lockett is an older player. You got Van Jefferson, you got Calvin Ridley, and you got rookies. The rookies are outshining everybody right now. The structure, y'all, is not there for this. So you can want Callahan to be aggressive. You can beg him to, but that also exposes Cam to getting hurt by having him in adverse situations where you're saying, hold it and go down the field. Those plays take time. And in order to get time, you got to have protection. I saw, yesterday, Chig or Gunner get absolutely bodied on a pass protection, on a sack. And it was a sack. So aggressive just to say you did, all right, cool. But aggressive may get Cam hurt too.
That, I think, is the struggle with where they are, Ramon, on offense, is that aggressiveness comes with a price.
It does.
It comes with a price. And yes, to your point, there are probably too many slow developing plays. But ultimately, it's on Cam Ward to understand, hey, this is the play called, I've got to check down. The only way you're going to learn that is with time and with the process of learning and getting real-life game reps in the NFL. That's why I don't think this is as simple as just coaching, as just offensive line, as just Cam Ward, as just receivers, as just Calvin Ridley, who I'm very surprised has had as little production as possible. Ultimately, all of these issues, Ramon, are on the staff. That's where I fall at this point. And the accountability is taken by a lot of different people. When I say staff, Ramon, there's a lot to go around right now. I don't think it's as simple as just one of those things. We're just kind of in a mess. And I would rather go down swinging, taking those shots, than run after the 2-minute warning at the end of the second quarter. Yeah. You make a good point that Cam's going to take some hits within that process as well. I would rather go down swinging that way than trying to be a run the ball, play defense kind of team, because I don't think this defense is good enough in the front seven to win in games with that formula. I think your best chance of competence and success this season is letting Cam cook. I think yesterday was the best example of that. Let's go back to the phones. Mitch is in Mount Juliet.
Hey, guys, can you hear me?
We got you.
Yep.
All right. Hey, first time I've called, so you can tell how mad I am just because I'm calling into a radio station.
Welcome.
This is ridiculous. It's all about accountability and bad decision making. It's been making bad decisions since Callahan walked in the door 2 years ago. He hired his dad, who was an offensive line coach of mediocre to bad teams. They let Henry out the door. They basically didn't draft the first year well. They blamed Levis for everything that was wrong last year when it was the offensive line because they were filling it with nothing but retreads from the Broncos. And then they basically went out unicorn hunting and got Cam in here instead of basically trading back and getting offensive line, defensive line, and shoring up the trenches. So basically we could build a team instead of basically just trying to make a splash. It's just been one bad decision after another, and now it's all accountability because the coaches are not holding the players accountable. And, the Indianapolis Colts guy said on an interview this weekend about that the team just wasn't ready to play this weekend. It's just sad. So, all right, I ranted. I'll shut up. You guys go.
Thank you, Mitch. That wasn't a rant at all. That was fair. It's good timing as well. You were good for a first-time caller.
You were. Call back anytime, Mitch.
Give yourself credit, Mitch. That was solid. I understand why fans feel that way, Ramon. I get it.
Too.
I totally get it.
I do too.
Let's go to Bam up next. From a first-time caller to a long-time caller. What's up, Bam?
Man, what's good, fam, man? Everybody all right?
We're good.
I think so.
This is how we normally sound after week 7, in between week 7 and 12. Yeah, man, it's almost kind of like, as well as it feels like everybody's just checking out. Like, it feels like somebody has taken a balloon and just deflated the whole season, man. Like, and I'm going to be real with you, Mike Keith did not deserve what was gotten yesterday. And now, granted, man, we love Mike for everything that he did, but it should have been in a better situation. I felt like Amy did that real quick emotionally based. And even though he deserved a better standing ovation, he deserved a better crowd, he deserved a better team. Everything he deserved should be better. And the fans, man, are making it known that much more. Like, the boos were so loud, so apparent. Man, we fed up. Like, it hurt. Man, listen, we wait 7 to 8 months all year, and then after that, it's like, we plan our year around football. We plan our travel schedule, our lives. And then to go out there and continually get that, man, that's a recipe that's like, yeah, I'm cool on that, man. Like, I'm cool on that. And it's hurtful, man, but it's also just kind of like looking at Callahan, he looks lost. He looks lost, and he looks discouraged. So it's just kind of like, you really don't know how to feel, what to feel, man. It's overly frustrating. And to be this early in the season, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. So, Ramon, we'll sit on y'all therapy chair, and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Bam. Appreciate the call.
Bam got louder and louder with each sentence right there, man. His emotion started taking over, Will.
Sure did. I get it. I mean, it's hard not to look discouraged with the way things are right now. And taking too long to make decisions on 4th and 1, where you have 2 timeouts and you still can't make a decision. It just can't happen.
Yeah.
Can't happen. No excuse for it whatsoever. Somebody tweeted at me yesterday and said, can't wait to hear you spin this tomorrow. What is there to spin? What is there to spin? I asked for patience. We waited a couple weeks. Things aren't better.
Mm-hmm.
Now you deal with the consequences. I'm not spinning crap. I just didn't want to fire the coach after week 1. I didn't expect to be here either. But it's like if you try to take somebody, if you're taking the ACT and you pick up the test after only one section's done and you failed the first section, but hey, I'm really good at English, so I'm actually going to get better as the test goes. Okay, well then you're given time to take the test, right? You don't take the ACT up from someone when they do 1 out of the 5 sections or however many sections you get now. Ramon, now we're answering more questions. Now we're getting into more sections of the test. Now things are so bad that we're having tougher conversations this morning. And those are fair. Those are fair. So, no, I'm not spinning anything this morning because things weren't good yesterday. And that's the reality of where this team is right now. There is accountability that is going to be held for a staff and a team that is not meeting expectations that Ramon still were not very high to begin with this year.
No, they weren't. You couldn't spin any better on Wheel of Fortune than on this one, Will. Like,
there's nothing to spin. Like it was bad. It was really bad yesterday. That's just the reality of the situation right now.
I'm the same mindset as you. Like, you got to give it time because it's a football season, not a football week. That's the thing. You'd expect first week, all right, we got to see what this is going to look like. And everybody's been asking the question, how long do you judge? And we've all said a month, 4 weeks, the first quarter of the season. Well, we're coming up on it in an away game in Houston against a city rival that's not the same team, but a city rival that somewhat tried to take your colors and, as many times as you possibly can embarrass you. And then, of course, you match with the fact with the Titans, one of their wins was in Houston. So they won't get back on that, who's also 0-3.
Yeah. Ben is in the Borough. Up next.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. The decision-making, forget what happened at the end of the first half. Let's talk about what happened at the beginning of the game. So you win the toss. You don't defer. You take the ball to do that, run the ball twice, and then throw an outlet pass that Cam made a lazy throw. But, that's the script, that you take the ball and don't defer to the second half. Come on, man. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah,
they're trying to get a lead and play with a lead. I understand it. I didn't have an issue with taking the ball. You just like to do more when you have the ball. But to me, on the list of things that went wrong yesterday, that's not my biggest issue.
I think psychologically it was the right play, right move to make. Get your offense going. Again, he's an offensive head coach. He's trying to be
the aggressor.
And exactly.
Yep.
Hey, that's an alpha move.
Check the podcast if you don't get the reference there. Alex is up next. Hey, Alex.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Also,
Alex, you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
We got you. Go ahead.
Yeah, we got you.
Say good. Also, first time, but good morning.
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 So I am a patient and positive fan. I would love for us to come back to Nissan at 3-3. However, if we are sitting at 0-6, I haven't heard this question yet. Have we seen Callahan's last game at Nissan already?
Thank you, Alex. What do you think, Ramon?
If it doesn't happen after Houston, I think you wait until the bye week. That way you got a full reset. You can recalibrate the team, give them a way to separate for a while too. It'd probably be after the bye week at this point. What is it, week 9, if I'm not mistaken?
November 8th or November 9th.
November 8th. Bye week. I did say holiday season, like around Thanksgiving and stuff like that, but if this continues to look like that, I don't know that you can save it as much as I would preach patience, and I don't think you can save it if it does look like this.
Matthew is up next. What's up, Matthew?
Hey, man, just want to tune in. I actually disagree with you on the Amy Adams at the top of the list and her being the problem with the Titans. Look, it starts with Amy Adams. She hired the bum to make the play calls on fourth down. She has hired everybody. They took everybody out of the stadium, out of the team. And I just can't be a fan of the Titans anymore. I feel like if the Eagles came to Tennessee with the mindset that we have right now, they couldn't even win a game with all the talent that they have. So I think we need to make a petition. We need to fire her ass and get her out of Tennessee as quick as we can because she is the problem.
Thank you, Matthew. There's no
You want that
firing
one,
the
or can
owner.
I take it?
Yeah, I'll take it. You don't fire the owner. It's just that. It's not the way it works.
Also, in these hiring processes, she's the last one, I'm sure, to get insight on who and what they are. Just my personal opinion. I don't think she's in on round one, round two, as many folks like to think. Like, hey, what do you want to do with my team? Type of stuff. I feel like whether it was Organzi, Brand, or Chad, like they got to go through them first before they actually get to her. So, what did they tell her?
Let's go to Eric in North Carolina next. What's up, Eric?
Hey, I am. How y'all doing? Y'all doing all right?
We're good. How are you?
Good morning.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing at some of these callers. And I also, and I, it's just funny. Fire the owner. You can't fire the owner. And Will, that was not me calling you out saying how you gonna spend this. And I know. I remember.
Thank you, Eric.
I told y'all that was not me, but I did tell you they're gonna fire him by that time. Mike Vrabel comes time, they're gonna fire him after that. But man, I think a big issue I've been thinking about the last couple of days was a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, it's taking so long to hire that new head coach, and they're trying to get it right, taking so long to making sure they dot these I's and cross these T's." And that's one issue that I had because this is what we ended up bringing in, and it sucks because this is a product that you wanted to go into the new stadium, and it's not going to happen. So that's where I am with it. Hopefully we can try to find that new guy. But some names though before I get off: Jay Gruden, John Gruden, Iron Flores, and I forgot my third guy. Oh, this is gonna sound crazy. If Miami let McDonald go because of the offense and because of Cam Ward, and I hang up and let y'all talk.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate the call. I will only address the first one. John Gruden's not coaching in the NFL anytime soon. Anytime soon. There is a reason why he's out of the league. I think John Gruden wants to be a college coach, but I want to address the other ones because, hey, we have a head coach right now. So I want to. I'm not going to go there yet. But just answering on Gruden for any opening, Ramon, John Gruden's not going to be close to the NFL for a while.
No.
With the off-field stuff.
I'll answer the last one. I don't think Mike McDaniel is getting another head coaching job. Maybe an OC, but I can't see him managing a team the way he has in Miami again.
Agreed. Mike McDaniel screams, I'm going to go be a Cliff Kingsbury for a defensive head coach somewhere else. That's where Mike McDaniel belongs, respectfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the NFL is such a profit business. You'd be a fool to sell your team right now.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I mean, but for sure. For sure. Coming up, we'll get to Jake and Andy, our final two callers of the morning. Buck will take the rest of your calls, and we'll get the final two in and wrap up the show next. Wrapping up the show, Ramona Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee, Buck Rising, Cover 2, and 3HL. Have you covered for the rest of your reaction Monday. Final call this morning goes to Jake in Shelbyville. What's up?
Hey, good morning. First-time caller, long-time listener.
Welcome.
And very tired Titans fan.
Okay.
So earlier you were talking about expectations, and I think we all had very low expectations, but we did expect the coach to not be a moron and Calvin Ridley to catch the football and Jeffrey Simmons to make a difference on the defensive line. When is it time to start talking about trading some of those assets and moving forward with a new head coach and getting as many draft picks as we can for the years coming? I'll hang up and listen.
Thank you, Jake. Ramona and I were having this conversation last night. It is, I think, on everyone's radar. I think after this 3-game road trip, Ramon.
Yeah.
I mean, you play Houston this weekend. You go to Arizona. You go to Phoenix. Phoenix and Arizona, it's the same thing. Good job, Will. You go to Phoenix to take on Arizona, and you go to Vegas.
Yeah.
By the time you come back to play the New England Patriots, it feels like you will have more clarity on that. The thing is, though, it's not just always in your best interest to immediately get rid of your players, because the closer you get to the deadline, the better the offers get and the more desperate contenders get. So what may be a 4th-round pick for a player today could be a 3rd-round pick when you get towards the deadline, more players get hurt, and contenders are more desperate. You're in no hurry. I mean, the next month we'll have those conversations, but just because you get offers now doesn't mean that you're going to immediately take them.
Yeah, no, it's too soon to show your hand. I think you're right. The conversation most definitely has to come up if this is going to be a firing. I think most people want. I don't know if it's expected, but a firing that most people want. You're trying to get rid of some stuff that you don't see as good to this team. I think a lot of this fan base is tired of the old stuff that's been here too. Like, what are you going to do to reset and change the culture? I brought up last year or this past summer before draft season, like, do you consider Jeffrey Simmons as one of those guys? And a lot of people are going to look at me sideways, but I'll say this. The transaction that happened with Jeff getting an extra bump in his pay, Teron Davenport said that wasn't for the 17th game. That was a here, man, be quiet. We'll pay you a little bit of money because we're bad. Like, if you're Jeffrey Simmons in this situation right here, wouldn't you go to your agency, and I think he's got CAA now as representation, and say, hey, I want out? And the Titans might have to listen to get some capital back. Like, this is a conversation, like you said, for down the line. But if I'm any or even the Titans in this situation, where do you start to cut bait and say, all right, screw it. We're going to go the long route.
Yeah. It's a good question. Calvin Ridley's production's been really surprising to me, Ramon. Really surprising. I thought he was on his way to an easy 1,000-yard season. Mentally, there's just something not there with Calvin. Brian Callahan did talk about it yesterday and was asked, at what point do you have to go away from Calvin Ridley? Brian Callahan had this to say.
I'm not going to stop relying on him. He's got to help us. He's got to do his part. We're going to keep throwing the ball to him. He's going to keep putting him in position to make plays. You know, it's the same thing. When a guy doesn't perform his best, they got to find a way to pull themselves out of it, and we got to find a way to help him. And at the end of the day, you know, he's still a really good player, and we're still going to need him. And if we're going to claw our way out of the spot that we're in, we're going to need everybody in there to do it. And Calvin's going to be a big part of that. And he's got to find a way to get his confidence back up and perform. But certainly never going to shy away. He's a big part of our offense, and we need him.
For your side of things, how do you help Calvin?
You know, I think you got to keep coming to him. You got to keep throwing the ball. You know, the hard part is that these things don't show up. You know, sometimes in practice, and all of a sudden in the game, it's a problem. So you got to keep working. It's like a hitter in a slump. You know, he's in a bit of one right now, and he's got to find a way to get out of it. And you know, whatever that is, extra time after practice, whether it's making sure he's catching balls on the jugs, all those things are all a part of it. And a lot of times it's an individual effort, you know, but I still believe in Calvin, and that's part of it too. He's got to feel that the guys believe in him, the quarterback believes in him, and you got to keep working to go back to him, and he's got to come do his part.
There you go. Brian Callahan on Calvin Ridley. All the time we got today, Ramon. We're back at it tomorrow. I will see you back in here tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir. Hey, please remember this, y'all. Your Twitter fingers. Okay, them 10 digits you have, them Twitter fingers, and your mic is always high. Peace.